C. 2446. C. 2446. Chu Hongqing came to Chen Xiang's side and asked in a low voice, "Didn't you say you were going to accompany Big Sister Coincidental Yen to refine pills?" "It's fine." Xie Xiaoyan's tone became much more gentle. She was worried about Chen Xiang's servant because she knew her own personality. Chu Hongqing nodded and then came to Xie Xiaoyan's side. "Just refine the Qingyuan Dan. Within 4 hours the highest quality person will win." Chen Xiang was the referee. He was currently lying on the lawn with his head on Yang Xiangyin's bed, looking at the blue sky with great enjoyment. He would occasionally pinch Yang Xiangyin's face or touch Yang Xiangyin's tender jade hands. 4 hours was still relatively long for Chen Xiang, so he let Yang Xiangyin hum a small tune for him to listen to while he closed his eyes and waited for the result. Chu Hongqing was also very hard-working. She clearly understood that the reason Chen Xiang wanted her to compete with him was to squeeze out her potential. Xie Xiaoyan could guess that Chen Xiang must have PAS. Set his pill techniques on to the servant girl beside her, causing her to be a little envious. A servant girl could actually obtain a pill technique as high as Chen Xiang's. This servant was simply too lucky. It had been a long time since Xie Xiaoyan last refined a Qingyuan Dan. She had some experience, but since she had a solid foundation, she refined very quickly. She opened the pill furnace in just an hour and took out 5 Qingyuan Dan's that were glowing with a blue light. The quality seemed very good. Chu Hongqing had not completed it yet, but she was extremely stable. Chen Xiang had a better understanding of her strength. He felt that even if Chu Hongqing lost, it wouldn't be too embarrassing. After 4 hours had almost said, Chu Hongqing was finally done. She opened the pill furnace and took out 7 Qingyuan Dan's. "So many!" Xie Xiaoyan exclaimed. "I need to test my quality." Chen Xiang laughed. Xie Xiaoyan took out the testing disc and placed all 5 of his Qingyuan Dan's onto it. Each pellet was of 400 quality. The quality was considered very high. The total value of 5 pellets was 2,000. During Chu Hongqing's test, the highest pellet was 300 and the lowest was 260. Her 7 pellets had a total quality of 1,870, which wasn't too far off from Xie Xiaoyan's. Chen Xiang smiled and pinched Chu Hongqing's jade face. "If you refine another pellet, you will win." Chu Hongqing stuck out her tongue and said tenderly, "I can't, this is my limit." Xie Xiaoyan said, "Hongqing, you are considered very powerful. I don't know many female alchemists, but none of them are as powerful as you. This is all thanks to Master's guidance." Chu Hongqing smiled sweetly. "Big Sister Qianyan definitely hasn't put her full effort, right? If you use your full strength, the gap between you and I will definitely be very large." Chen Xiang allowed Xie Xiaoyan and her to refine pellets together, so that they could exchange their experiences, while Chen Xiang brought Yang Xiangyin to stroll around the villa. "Xiangyin, what do you think about this woman, Xie Xiaoyan?" Chen Xiang asked. "Not bad. She's strong and has great alchemy skills. She's pretty and has status. Although her appearance is cold on the surface, her character isn't bad." After Yang Xiangyin finished speaking, he asked her in a low voice, "Master, you're interested in her?" "It is indeed a little interesting. I only wanted to get her to the Hundreds of Flowers village, but I was still a little worried because I am still not very familiar with her." Chen Xiang pulled Yang Xiangyin's small hand and shook it. "Then how can I be at ease with her? She's so strong, it's very difficult to take her in as a female slave." Yang Xiangyin also understood Chen Xiang's worry. She knew that the women in Hundreds of Flowers village were extremely important to Chen Xiang. Chen Xiang looked at Yang Xiangyin with a smile, then covered her cherry lip. This sudden event caused Yang Xiangyin to not be prepared in the slightest. Moreover, for such a thing, it was very awkward for her. Of course, she didn't reject it from the bottom of her heart, and she had been waiting for this since a long time ago. Slowly, Yang Xiangyin became a little familiar, and they began to kiss once more. This kind of feeling made her heart feel an inexplicable sense of sweetness, and her body felt a little hot. Chen Xiang laid on the GRAS with Yang Xiangyin in his arms and asked, Xiangyin, are you happy with me? Of course I'm happy. Master has been so kind to me, spending so many jade money to buy me to be safe from poison. I'm very grateful to you. Yang Xiangyin gently caressed Chen Xiang's chest and said sweetly, That's good. I was worried that you wouldn't be happy. Chen Xiang laughed, and then, he kissed Yang Xiangyin on the cheek. In the evening, Chen Xiang and Yang Xiangyin returned to the garden. Xie Qiaoyan and Chu Hongqing were still concocting pills. It seemed that their communication was not bad, and they even tried to concoct 2 batches of pills. Chen Xiang looked at their results and realized that Xie Qiaoyan had actually managed to refine 6 pills. This must have been due to Chu Hongqing giving her some pointers, and the quality of the pills Chu Hongqing refined had also increased by a lot, becoming more stable. Don't get tired. Chen Xiang laughed. Hongqing, you should rest first and come back tomorrow. Xie Qiaoyan knew that Chu Hongqing's cultivation was not high, and her training was difficult for her, but it could help Chu Hongqing improve her quality. Xie Qiaoyan had already promised Chen Xiang that he would stay here for 2 days, and then, he would partake. 1p8 in the Jiang family patriarch's birthday banquet. The next morning, when Chen Xiang opened the door, she saw Xie Qiaoyan and Chu Hongqing drinking tea and eating dim sum in the hall. Yang Xiangyin had made these. Although she did not know how to refine pills, she was very good at it. I won't be refining the Qingyuan Dan today. There's a guy who wants to challenge me. He knows that I'm here. Xie Qiaoyan said. Oh, could it be that he also has a recommends divine pill in his hands? Chen Xiang took out the pill Xie Qiaoyan gave him last time. As long as there was a pill here, he could challenge the alchemist above at any time. Yes, he knew that I was here, and the person in charge of Danji, D list of 8 wastelands also sent a message to me, asking me to accept his challenge today. Xie Qiaoyan nodded. Looks like this Danji, D list of 8 wastelands is very troublesome. I better not go. Chen Xiang curled his lips. It's troublesome occasionally, but there are quite a few benefits as well. However, those benefits should not be much to you. Xie Qiaoyan said, Will you come with me to take a look? Of course I'm going. If you lose to that guy, then I can help you get back at him. Chen Xiang laughed. I won't lose. Xie Qiaoyan snorted. Weren't you as confident as me last time? Chen Xiang laughed. I refuse to believe that I will be so unlucky as to encounter 2 monsters in such a short amount of time. Xie Qiaoyan scoffed. You wish for me to lose that much? What kind of mentality do you have? Chen Xiang laughed. Of course I don't want to. You can only lose to me, you can't lose to anyone, especially other men. Xie Qiaoyan frowned and said, Why do these words sound a little strange to me? C. 2447. C. 2447 Chu Hongqing and Yang Xiangyin entered the Yu Yao Mountain Villa. They did not like being in front of everyone right now. Then, Chen Xiang followed Xie Qiaoyan to the 3 Lives Native Bank. This was the first time Chen Xiang had entered the 3 Lives Native Bank. This 3 Lives Native Bank was extremely luxurious. No matter if it was the outside or the inside, they were all decorated brilliantly with gold and jade. When he entered the 3 Lives Native Bank's great hall, he was pierced by the golden light in his eyes. The ground and top were paved with gold, and the decorations were magnificent. The Eternal Life Native Bank is lacking a lot in this area. Chen Xiang lamented. Eternal Life Native Bank is still considered normal, the worst should be the Lifeless Native Bank. You probably have never been to the Lifeless Native Bank. The moment Xie Qiaoyan entered, he took out the communication jade symbol paper and said, We're on the 6th floor, let's go up. Usually, they would compete in pill refining on the floors above Native Bank, because there were many alchemists that were gathered there, and there was also Native Bank that guaranteed fairness. When Chen Xiang and Xie Xiaoyan arrived, many people were surprised. Their focus was also on Chen Xiang, because Xie Xiaoyan had lost to Chen Xiang, so everyone thought that Xie Xiaoyan would definitely resent him for that. They never thought that they would actually come together, and even walk so close. Their relations Hi+P seemed to be not bad. When Ning Quan saw that Chen Xiang had such a good relations Hi+P with his own master, he felt extremely uncomfortable. Huang Tian, who was beside Ning Quan, was even more jealous. He never thought that Chen Xiang would not only specially take in female slaves, but also have a hand in this kind of strong and cold beauty. Ning Quan was not surprised. He had definitely come here to place his bet on the jade money, but he did not know who he was betting with, and this 3 Lives Native Bank would definitely open the compet. 1 Tian for this compet. 1 Tian. Martial uncle, why are you with him? Ning Quan immediately asked. This guy is not a good person. Chen Xiang immediately laughed. Your junior master is currently living in my villa, and your relations Hi+P with me is not bad. Don't carelessly slander me. Ning Quan originally wanted to say something, but after coming in contact with Xie Xiaoyan's ice-cold gaze, he did not dare to say any more. Xie Xiaoyan was actually in Chen Xiang's villa. He thought about it and felt that it was understandable. Xie Xiaoyan had been defeated by Chen Xiang. Was it you who challenged me? Xie Xiaoyan looked at a man dressed in luxurious blue clothes. That's right, the man said, looking a little haughty. Of course, his eyes were burning with passion. With one look, one could tell that he had ulterior motives towards such an blee and cold woman like Xie Xiaoyan. Xie Xiaoyan, he is the grandson of the Sky Harmony Sect's leader S. His name is Qiao Yu, and the recommended divine pellet in his hands is given by the Sky Harmony Sect's leader S. But don't think that he got the recommended divine pill because of his grandfather. An old man said. Chen Xiang guessed that the old man was the person in charge of the Danji list of 8 wastelands, so it was obvious that there would be such a person by his side. It doesn't matter, we just need 2 billion jade money, Xie Xiaoyan said. On the way here, Chen Xiang had also understood that if he were to lose, he would need to pay 2 billion jade money, but if Xie Xiaoyan lost, he would only give up the position of Danji list of 8 wastelands. This was one of the benefits of being in the Danji list of 8 wastelands, as there would be people who would challenge him often. As long as he was not defeated, there would be jade money to fight with, and it would also increase his reputation. How about Dao Gu Dan S? Qiao Yu asked. A high-grade king-level martial artist, are you actually quite confident? Xie Xiaoyan said. The time limit of 6 hours is the highest in terms of overall quality. Should I use my own pill furnace or native banks? Use your own furnace, Qiao Yu said. After all, when refining pills, his own pill furnace could help him stabilize and be a part of his strength. I heard that a high-grade king-level Dao Gu Dan is extremely difficult to refine. It will be refined in 6 hours. Chu Hongqing said from within the Yu Yao mountain villa. I wonder how high the overall quality will be. Xie Xiaoyan was using the mysterious wooden pill furnace, so Chen Xiang felt that it shouldn't be a problem for her to use the pill furnace. Chen Xiang, you are also a gambler now, aren't you going to bet? Ning Quan, who was standing opposite of him, asked. Betting? Isn't this betting on Xie Xiaoyan winning? Even if I win, I will lose very little. Chen Xiang shook his head. He's too young, it's not fun. No, there are very few people who can win against Junior Master this time, because they all think highly of Qiao Yu. If you win, it'll be 150. Ning Quan said. Then did you buy it? Chen Xiang asked again. No, my judgment isn't that good. Ning Quan shook his head. This villa was opened by the 3 Lives Native Bank, and they actually did not think highly of Xie Qiaoyan. It must be because Qiao Yu had some tricks up his sleeves. Chen Xiang anxiously ran over to an old man and said, I bought 2 billion jade money. If I bought the right one, it would be 10 billion, right? Everyone was shocked. Chen Xiang actually bought that many in one go. Just now, Ning Quan had already told them that there were not many people who bought Xie Qiaoyan, which meant that they did not have high hopes for him. Yes, are you sure you want to buy it? The old man asked. I'm sure. Chen Xiang took out 2 billion jade money and obtained a piece of jade. If Xie Qiaoyan won, he would be able to receive 10 billion jade money from this piece of jade. Xie Qiaoyan frowned his eyebrows and sent a sound transmission to Chen Xiang. You are too reckless. This Qiao Yu has some skills, and his sky sect is also skilled in pill refining. It is said that his grandfather once defeated the number 1 pill God of our limitless pellet Dao. Qiao Yin, I have confidence in you. You have obtained the complete version of the infinite Dan method. Chen Xiang laughed. Don't lose, I bought 2 billion jade money from you. Then let's begin. The old man said. Chen Xiang secretly used the Jiro D's Eye Dao to observe inside the pill furnace. He wanted to see what kind of skill this Qiao Yu had, to actually have so many people thinking that he could defeat Xie Qiaoyan. Ning Quan came to Chen Xiang's side and said in a low voice, Chen Xiang, you definitely do not understand the Sky Sect. Chen Xiang nodded, then laughed. Not bad, but I know your junior master very well, that's enough. Ning Quan scoffed. You and my junior master are so close, you should be careful. What's there to be careful about? I don't need to worry about getting revenge here. Chen Xiang looked at Huang Tian and laughed. Otherwise that bastard would have already killed me. On the other hand, you don't have that much confidence in your own martial uncle, but you really are trying to take advantage of the enemy. You must have bought that guy to win, right? Qiao Yu's grandfather is the number 2 in Dan God list of 8 wastelands. Previously, the number 2 in Dan God list of 8 wastelands was the limitless pill Dao's great elder. But Qiao Yu's cultivation is the same as my senior master. He must have obtained his grandfather's inheritance, and it's hard to say whether my senior master will be able to obtain the entire inheritance of the limitless pill. Ning Quan was actually quite familiar with the matters of the limitless pill Dao. C-2448. C-2448. That was why she had previously said that Chen Xiang was reckless, because even she wasn't sure if she could win now. Chen Xiang realized that when he was refining high-level pellets and was inspecting the other party's pill furnace, he placed the ingredients inside. As such, no one knew what kind of ingredients were used to refine the pellet, but it was also to prevent the ingredients from leaking out. The pill techniques of the sky-piercing sky sect are also not simple. Chen Xiang immediately understood something. When Qiao Yu was refining pills, he was actually using a light golden flame. This flame was not his original flame, but rather something he had used to change it. Chen Xiang could only see that the fire was pale golden, but he did not know what benefits it had for refining pills. He continued to observe, and an hour later, he discovered that the herbs in Qiao Yu's furnace had already been refined into a very viscous liquid. It was much faster than Xie Qiaoyan's. Qiao Yin, what is the name of the Sky Palace sect's alchemy technique? Chen Xiang asked. Yes, it's called the Crossroads Dao technique. You won't be able to tell anything from the name. Xie Qiaoyan was relatively relaxed now. Oh, he has already refined all of the medicinal ingredients, so you are much slower than him, Chen Xiang said. And from his appearance, it seems that the quality of the medicinal liquid he refined was very high. The golden flames he used made the medicinal liquid he refined look very special and contained a very strong energy. He used golden flames? Can you really see inside his pill furnace? Xie Qiaoyan asked in surprise. Really, do you know anything about these golden flames? Chen Xiang asked as he became more serious. Yes, it is said that this type of flame has a very special power. When burning medicinal herbs, it can raise the quality of the medicinal herbs by a lot. This flame was produced from their unhindered pill arts. Xie Qiaoyan said, "Seems like I won't be able to relax this time. Qiaoyan, at this rate you will definitely lose. I don't have any more than 2 billion jade money." Chen Xiang said, "Who asked you to be so reckless? I will do my best to defeat him." Of course, Xie Qiaoyan didn't want to lose that 2 billion, which gave her a lot of motivation. Chen Xiang thought for a while, then sent a sound transmission to her. "Qiaoyan, looks like you can only take the risk right now. I will pass on 2 techniques to you, so that you can refine higher quality pills. Of course, I don't know if it's suitable for you to use. You can see for yourself whether you can use it in combination with your pill techniques." "All right," Xie Qiaoyan immediately replied. Naturally, she was very willing to learn the pill techniques that Chen Xiang had taught her. After that, Chen Xiang imparted to Xie Qiaoyan the 2 relatively easier techniques within the heavenly alchemy, as they were mainly used to help her improve her quality when concocting pills. One of them was to merge one's power into the flame while refining the medicinal herbs. When one was being burned and refined by the flames, one's power would seep into the medicinal herbs, increasing the quality of the medicinal herbs. This was also the reason why Chen Xiang was able to maintain his high quality when refining the pellets for many years. Furthermore, it was also because of the special method of heavenly alchemy to release fire around the time the pellet was condensed. It was merely 2 small techniques for Chen Xiang, but it was extremely important to Xie Qiaoyan as it was extremely difficult for her to raise even a little bit of quality in her current situation. However, the 2 techniques that Chen Xiang had said down to her could actually greatly improve the quality. It should be helpful. Your pill forging skills are indeed brilliant," Xie Qiaoyan praised. She also knew that Chen Xiang didn't really like her, if not he would not have casually said it down to her. Right now, it was useless for Chen Xiang to teach her his superior refining skills. He would need some time to digest them. Then how are you going to repay me? The 2 alchemy techniques that I've said on to you are extremely precious." Chen Xiang laughed. "If I win, I can make a lot of money. Isn't that enough?" Xie Qiaoyan said. "Of course it's not enough. I don't lack jade money now." Chen Xiang laughed. "Wait till I win. If your 2 pill concocting skills are of great help, I won't owe you anything." Xie Qiaoyan replied. "I need to concentrate. We'll talk about it when it's over." Chen Xiang continued to use the power of the God's eye to look at Xiao Yu's furnace. The medicinal liquid in the furnace had already turned a thick gold, releasing a strong gold light. At one glance it was clear that the quality was extremely high. What kind of flame is this? It can actually continuously improve its quality when it's being burned. It seems that its quality has increased exponentially. No wonder so many people don't think too highly of her beauty. Chen Xiang exclaimed in his heart. Time flew by quickly. It seemed like there was only an hour left before the end. However, Xie Qiaoyan and his team had already completed their mission, and it looked like they were in a rush as well. After about an hour, Xiao Yu finally opened the pill furnace. 4 pills. Chen Xiang had seen Xiao Yu condensing 4 pills just now, and when he was condensing the pills, the quality had increased yet again. The reason why Xiao Yu was able to refine such a high-quality pill was mainly because of his strange flame. This made Chen Xiang's heart itch. If he had this flame, then maybe the quality would have increased even more when he was refining the pill. It seems that Brother Qiao has improved a lot. It is obvious from one look that your 4 Dao Gu Dan are of a much higher quality than the ones you refined before. A middle-aged man laughed. I'm not too sure either, but in short, I have decided to win today. Although the infinite Dan method is strong, Xie Qiaoyan has not learned the essence, otherwise, he would not have lost to Chen Xiang. Xiao Yu smiled faintly, and then looked at Chen Xiang with some disdain. Xiao Yu was very satisfied with the Dao Gu Dan that he had refined today. He felt that today's exceptional performance was much better than when he had practiced before. 3,000 points. Xiao Yu nodded with a smile. Looks like challenging the higher rankings on Danji. Oh. D list of 8 wastelands isn't a problem. The records of the Pil Gods in the Danji OD list of 8 wastelands are way too poor compared to me right now. Xiao Yu saw that he could get 3,000 HP per pill, which made him even more proud. He actually looked down on the GOD of pills above Danji OD list of 8 wastelands. Don't we allow him to improve? Chen Xiang laughed. It's hard to say whether or not you can enter Danji OD list of 8 wastelands. Xiao Yu laughed and placed the second Dao Gu Dan into the well. According to what I know, Xie Xiaoyan's highest quality Dao Gu Dan was only 1,500. Although there are 5 pills, the total quality is not as high as what I have now. Xiao Yu then placed another 3,000 quality pellets into the Dao Gu Dan in his hand. That was a total of 12,000 points. This was indeed very high quality. Ning Quan immediately laughed. Chen Xiang, in order to win over my junior master, it doesn't matter if you eat something or lose 2 billion, just keep up the effort. It's fine if you lose 5 billion, but if I lose 2 billion, it's definitely nothing. Of course, your junior master has not managed to refine the Dao Gu Dan yet, so you came to a conclusion too early. Chen Xiang also laughed. Mentioning the fact that Ning Quan had lost 5 billion, Ning Quan's face became ugly. He had always kept this matter in his heart. C-2449. C-2449. Seeing Xie Xiaoyan's calm expression, Chen Xiang was secretly relieved. Although Xie Xiaoyan had just learned how to refine pills, she had used it extremely well now and her quality had increased by a lot. Chen Xiang, if you don't accept it, why don't you compete with Xiao Yu and refine a cauldron? Huang Tian also thought that Xiao Yu would win for sure. When Huang Tian came to this city, he started to understand the alchemy gods above Dan God list of 8 wastelands, and all of them knew the overall quality of those alchemy gods. So now that he saw Xiao Yu concoct a total of 12,000 points in quality, and a high-grade king-level pill at that, he immediately believed that Xiao Yu had won. Indeed, I will not compete with him. He is not qualified. Xiao Yu said with a cold smile. At this moment, his face was full of arrogance, as though he had already defeated Xie Xiaoyan. You are not qualified in my eyes. If I were to refine a Dao Mark Dan, I will definitely not lose to you. Chen Xiang smiled faintly. The last time I fought with Xie Xiaoyan, what I refined was a failure, but the quality was already that high, and now I can successfully refine a pill. Chen Xiang's single pellet's quality was over 10,000, which really made many alchemists exclaim in amazement. Xiao Yu only snorted coldly. He had no choice but to admit that Chen Xiang still had some ability. To be honest, if I knew how to refine Dao Gu Dan, defeating you wouldn't be a problem at all. Chen Xiang laughed. I simply do not put you in my eyes, because you can't even win against Xie Xiaoyan. Chen Xiang would not lose to his opponent in a bickering match. Xiao Yu did not say anything now. He did indeed want to compete with Chen Xiang in refining the Dao Mark Dan, but he was worried that he would lose. Although he was arrogant, he was not stupid, and knew clearly what it meant for Chen Xiang to refine a single Dao Mark Dan with over 10,000 points of quality. Time was almost up. Xie Xiaoyan had also opened his pill furnace. Only 3 pills? Senior Master, this is not your true strength. Ning Quan immediately shouted in shock. Everyone present had heard that Xie Xiaoyan had refined 5 Dao Gu Dan-s in a single pot. Although they only had 3 pills that glittered with golden light, they did not think that she had a higher quality than Xiao Yu. Xiao Yu's Dao Gu Dan-s had a single quality of 3,000, and that was the highest one in the history of the Dao Gu Dan. Even if Xie Xiaoyan had a single quality of 3,000, Her 3 pellets only had a total quality of 9,000. Xie Xiaoyan didn't know how high the quality of the 3 Dao Gu Dan he had refined were either. He only knew that she had improved a lot, because she had used the 2 small techniques that Chen Xiang had taught her. Xie Xiaoyan's pill furnace had always been a great help to her quality, and with her infinite Dan method, and her current pill techniques, she felt that she wouldn't lose. Xie Xiaoyan carried the 3 Dao Gu Dan S that she had just refined and walked to the side of the testing board. At this moment, everyone held their breaths as they watched. If Xie Xiaoyan lost, she would be kicked out of Dan God list of 8 wastelands, and in the pill refining circle, this was explosive news. As one of the few women in the Dan God list of 8 wastelands, Xie Xiaoyan had attracted a lot of attention over the years. Under everyone's gazes, Xie Xiaoyan placed a Dao Gu Dan on the pit. 5,000. Chen Xiang smiled faintly. The quality of a single grain is 5,000, this is over 2,000 more than Xiao Yu's. Everyone started to pant. The quality of the single pill was much higher than Xiao Yu, it was almost twice as high, causing Xiao Yu's expression to instantly become ugly. The second pill also cost 5,000. Everyone exclaimed once again. 2 pills was already over 10,000. The third time it was 6,000. Xiao Yu's face was ashen. He who was previously so proud was now like a man who had been slapped dozens of times in public. His face was almost green. 2 billion, give it to me. Xie Xiaoyan coldly said to Xiao Yu. At this moment, Xiao Yu was a little unsteady. He did not expect Xie Xiaoyan to actually improve so much in a short period of time. He looked at the smiling Chen Xiang beside Xie Xiaoyan and immediately understood that it was Chen Xiang who had given him the pill technique. Humph! Xiao Yu tossed a storage bag to Xie Xiaoyan. After Xie Xiaoyan finished counting the items, he gave it to Chen Xiang. For me. Chen Xiang was a little surprised. You trust me so much, consider it as me thanking you, Xie Xiaoyan said. This caused everyone to be extremely jealous. Chen Xiang bet 2 billion just now, and now he could receive 10 billion, and Xie Xiaoyan gave him another 2 billion. Of course, the thing that attracted the most attention was the relations, Hi+P between Chen Xiang and the 200 million jade money. After Chen Xiang obtained 10 billion from the native bank, when he was about to leave with Xie Xiaoyan, he was suddenly called back. Wait! The one who spoke was a middle-aged man wearing a luxurious yellow robe. Xiao Kun, are you here to avenge your son? Xie Xiaoyan sneered. Not bad, he was unwilling to lose. Xiao Kun smiled faintly. He felt that your performance today was a bit abnormal, but he couldn't find any problems, so I planned to compete with you again. He means my left arm? Do you think everyone around you is blind? If he really said that, then let him come out. I will properly take care of him, and actually slander me like that. Xie Xiaoyan was instantly enraged. Everyone was slightly shocked that Xie Xiaoyan actually wanted to take action. In this city, private battles were not allowed. Miss Xie, don't be angry. This is only an excuse for that boy to refuse to accept your loss. That's why I've come to challenge you. Regardless of whether I've lost or won, he has nothing more to say. Xiao Kun laughed. I'm tired today. If I were to compete with you again, my performance would be terrible. How about this? Why don't you compete with him? Xie Xiaoyan said, but he only knows how to refine Dao Mark Dan. Xie Xiaoyan looked at Chen Xiang and said, he has once defeated me. If you defeat him, it's equivalent to winning against me. Chen Xiang laughed out loud. If Uncle Qiao, you don't think there's anything good about winning against me, I can bet with you, I just won 10 billion, so why don't we bet 10 billion? Chen Xiang was completely confident in his ability to refine a Dao Mark Dan. He could even refine a Dao Mark Dan of extremely high quality with a magic method furnace. What would happen if he used a Chuang's Hi+God furnace? There were a lot of people around, and they were all stunned. Chen Xiang had just won 10 billion, now he actually wanted to take it out to gamble? Of course, it didn't matter if Chen Xiang lost, as he could easily win 10 billion. What is it? You don't dare? Or do you not have that many jade money? Xie Xiaoyan's tone was filled with ridicule, as if he was saying, if you don't have that many jade money, get lost already. Xiao Kun didn't know what to do now either. If he turned around and left, others would say that he couldn't afford to bet. If he bet with Chen Xiang and was worried about losing, he could only take out 5 billion jade money. See 2450. See 2450. Last time, Ning Quan lost 5 billion to Chen Xiang, and he was scolded to death by a large group of his ancestors. It was because that money belonged to the Ning family that gave him his business, but he did not expect to lose it all instantly. Uncle Qiao, it doesn't matter if you don't want to bet. We'll spar again next time. Chen Xiang laughed, his face full of ridicule. Everyone was secretly laughing. Xiao Kun originally wanted to help his son regain back his dignity, but who knew that it would be so difficult for him to do it now? How about this? Xiao Kun was startled for a moment, and finally thought of a plan to slow down the fighting, and said, "Tomorrow is the Jiang clan's patriarch's birthday. We will compete at that time, and it will add to the excitement of the birthday banquet. 10 billion? If you don't want to bet, then forget about it," Chen Xiang said as his mouth twitched. "If you can't afford to bet, then just say so. Everyone will laugh at you. Who doesn't know that 10 billion isn't something you can casually take out?" Xie Xiaoyan said coldly. Although Chen Xiang was not lacking in jade money, someone had delivered some to him, so he would definitely not refuse. Xie Xiaoyan had a very good relations, plus P with Chen Xiang now, and she also hated this Xiao Kun. 10 billion is 10 billion. How about we compete in the Jiang clan tomorrow? Xiao Kun said loudly. He was a man, and was even ranked above the Dan God list of 8 wastelands. He actually did not dare to accept the challenge of a Dao Dan realm child, and would definitely be laughed at, so he gritted his teeth and accepted the challenge. "See you tomorrow then. It doesn't matter if you don't come, everyone will understand you." Chen Xiang chuckled, with Xie Xiaoyan already walking in front. After Chen Xiang finished speaking, he hurriedly chased after him. Chen Xiang and Xie Xiaoyan returned to the villa and chuckled. "This jade money is earning money too fast. I don't even need to sell these pills to earn more jade money. It's not so easy to meet someone who's so stupid. If Xiao Kun loses to you, everyone will be more cautious next time," Xie Xiaoyan said. As soon as she came back, she sat on the chair. It was obvious that she was exhausted. "Luckily it went well today. I was almost defeated by that guy." Xie Xiaoyan sighed softly. "I've already said it before, you can only lose to me, you can't lose to others." Chen Xiang took out a glass of fruit juice and gave it to her, then smiled. "You said that you would give me some benefits. Could it be that it's those 2 billion? 2 billion is still not enough, it's a huge amount. If it's a person, it would be very difficult to take it out. Ning Quan's 5 billion and Xiao Yu's 2 billion are all from the powers behind them," Xie Xiaoyan said. Chen Xiang laughed. "Then I don't need it, I'll return it to you, I want your other repayment." Xie Xiaoyan frowned. "What can I repay you with, the pill formulas?" Chen Xiang rubbed his chin, and looked at Xie Xiaoyan with a strange expression. This made Xie Xiaoyan immediately understand. "Little b, a-s-t, a-r-d, don't you have too much guts? We've only known each other for a short period of time, and you already have this kind of idea?" Xie Xiaoyan coldly snorted. "Although we've only known each other for a short time, don't you think we're very suitable? Think back on it, there are a few men that can interact with you like this." Chen Xiang laughed. Chu Hongqing and Yang Xiangyin, who were inside the Yu Yao mountain villa, were also shocked by Chen Xiang. Chen Xiang had this thought about Xie Xiaoyan, and even attacked so quickly. However, they didn't think much of it when they thought about it. They were just taken down easily by Chen Xiang, who was even his female slave. Then what do you want? Xie Xiaoyan looked at Chen Xiang's handsome face and asked after hesitating for a moment. Just let me kiss your little mouth. Chen Xiang laughed sinisterly. No. Xie Xiaoyan immediately rejected it. I'll at most give you a kiss on the cheek. I want a kiss. Chen Xiang shouted. If you keep making trouble, I'm leaving. Xie Xiaoyan glared at Chen Xiang with hidden bitterness. All right, let's kiss on the cheek. Chen Xiang said. Hurry up. Xie Xiaoyan's ice-cold face slightly blushed and then, he closed his eyes. Chen Xiang looked at Xie Xiaoyan's slightly pursed lips, then moved his head over and hugged Xie Xiaoyan at the same time, and actually forcefully kissed Xie Xiaoyan's lip. Xie Xiaoyan was shocked and immediately shouted out. She was fine if she did not scream, but when she shouted, Chen Xiang's attack succeeded. She really wanted to send Chen Xiang flying, but she was worried about injuring Chen Xiang, so she quickly retreated, struggling but did not succeed. Little scoundrel, I can't go around you. Xie Xiaoyan sent a sound transmission to Chen Xiang. He was very angry. At first, Xie Xiaoyan was very uncooperative, but since she didn't have much experience with it, the process wasn't going smoothly for her. However, Chen Xiang had a lot of experience in this field. Not long after, Xie Xiaoyan fell and kissed him. Of course, it was only for a short period of time, and Chen Xiang's goal had been achieved. When the lips parted, Chen Xiang immediately defended himself. Humph! Return 2 billion to me. Xie Xiaoyan pinched Chen Xiang with all his strength and shouted. Chen Xiang took out 2 billion, licked his lips, and said with a smile, It's only a kiss and it's 2 billion, it's really a bit expensive. Don't bring this up again. Just now, it was as if nothing had happened. When Xie Xiaoyan thought back to this matter, she also had a complicated feeling. She had never experienced something like this before, and even though she was very angry, her anger towards Chen Xiang was also only a bit heavier. If it was anyone else, they would have been killed by her earlier. Here you go. Chen Xiang said over the 2 billion jade money, then said with a smile, Big Sister Qianyan, would you hate me? I hate you. Xie Xiaoyan took it and fiercely glared at him. Since you've been single for so long, you should at least make do with me. Chen Xiang laughed. Humph, don't think that I don't know you're a romantic one. You have 2 female slaves by your side, who knows where a large group of them might be hiding. Xie Xiaoyan was so angry that he scrunched his face. Xiaoyan, do you have the Dao Gu Dan's medicinal ingredients? Chen Xiang asked. Give me one. Take it. Xie Xiaoyan said Chen Xiang a set of Dao Gu Dan's medicinal ingredients. There were only 3 ingredients. Do you need a pill formula? No need. I don't have any plans to refine Dao Gu Dan yet. Chen Xiang laughed, then went to touch Xie Xiaoyan's face, and Xie Xiaoyan opened his hands. But Chen Xiang did not give up, and continued to play with Xie Xiaoyan, as if he was an angry child. After Xie Xiaoyan could not bear it any longer, he pinched the flesh of his body. Don't think I'm easy to bully. Xie Xiaoyan coldly snorted. I'm tired, so I'm going to rest first. Little b, a-s-t, a-r-d, don't act recklessly. Don't force me to beat you up. After Xie Xiaoyan finished speaking, he hurriedly returned to his room. Chen Xiang laughed, licked her lips, and thought back to that feeling just now. Was so angry at heart, she wanted to slap him, but she did not do anything. She did not know why she did not do anything. After Xie Xiaoyan returned to his room, he laid on the chair and looked at the methods inside the heavenly alchemy. He felt that many of the powerful pill techniques in this era should be related to the heavenly alchemy. C 2451. C 2451, the most obvious characteristic of Qiao Yu's crosscut pill technique was that it could release a special kind of flame. When refining the medicinal ingredients with this flame, the quality of the medicinal liquid that was separated would be higher. Chen Xiang remembered that there was a similar method in the heavenly alchemy, but he was not sure if the Sky Zone School's sky-crossing pill art was good enough. He just sat there on the chair with his eyes closed, searching. It wasn't until late at night that he opened his eyes. Could it be that all sorts of pill techniques in this era were learned from the heavenly alchemy? Chen Xiang had already found a method to cultivate the sky-crossing pill art. It was called the sublimation refining method. It was formed from the fusion of several methods. I can find the infinite Dan method in the heavenly alchemy, and now I found the crosscut pill technique. At this time, Chen Xiang was even more curious about the origin of the heavenly alchemy. It had actually spread among the various great powers of this era, and these great powers were all sects with extremely high alchemy skills. Chen Xiang entered the secret room, took out the Dao Mark Dan's medicine, and used the sublimation refining method that he had just comprehended. After using this method of refinement, the flames he released were actually purple. This kind of purple flame consumed a lot of Daoyuan immortal power, and was more than 10 times the flame that he normally used. Even so, Chen Xiang was secretly excited, because this proved that the sublimation refining method that he had just comprehended was the same as the sky-crossing pellet. It was just that the color of the flame that he released was different. Is it this kind of purple-colored power of mine or the golden flames of Qiao Yu's group that's strong? Chen Xiang was very curious about this. He immediately used this flame to refine the Dao Mark Dan. This time, he did not plan to use the crash method. He wanted to see how high of a quality the Dao Mark Dan would be made out of by using this kind of flame. Right now, he could only use this kind of flame to refine the Dao Mark Dan's medicinal ingredients, and then use the pattern refining method to refine the 3 types of into 1. After releasing the purple flames with all his strength, the refining speed of the spirit herbs was extremely fast. In a short moment, all the spirit herbs were refined, and he immediately used the pattern refining technique to refine the scattered spirit grain. Much faster. Chen Xiang was secretly pleasantly surprised. Of course, the fastest was when he used the bones in his eyes to refine it. It was just that the quality was not as high as it was now. Just condense 4 pills just like before. Chen Xiang only wanted to know how much the quality of the flames he used increased. He quickly formed 4 Dao Mark Dan. The quality is much higher, and the outside is even emitting a faint purple Lu. Esther. Is this because of the purple flames? Chen Xiang looked carefully at the 4 Dao Mark Dan. He did not have any quality testing tools in his hands, so he looked at Xie Qiaoyan's room. He had only knocked twice on Xie Qiaoyan's door when Xie Qiaoyan's voice came from inside. Little b, a, s, t, a, r, d. There's something that's happened in the middle of the night, why not say it again in the morning? Chen Xiang had originally planned to look for Xie Qiaoyan in the morning, but he was very curious now. If he did not get the results, he would definitely not be able to rest in peace. Sister Qianyan, there's something important that I didn't want to disturb you with. I promise I won't do anything bad and be honest, said. A man knocking on a woman's door in the middle of the night would definitely raise her guard, not to mention that Chen Xiang had forcefully kissed her yesterday. Humph. Xie Qiaoyan snorted and opened the door. What is it? Tell me. Xie Qiaoyan said. Lend me the items for your test. Chen Xiang said somewhat embarrassingly. Were you training in refining Dao Mark Dan yesterday? You were going all out too, take it? Xie Qiaoyan handed over the test disc to Chen Xiang, and decided to attend the Jiang clan master's birthday banquet at dawn. At that time, Chen Xiang would have to bet 10 billion, so it would be normal for him to train. After Chen Xiang received it, he immediately took out the Dao Mark Dan that he had refined using his normal flames. After continuously testing a few of them, he found that they were all of around 180 to 230 in quality. What are you doing? Weren't you the one who created the Dao Mark Dan after the collision? Why are you only of this little quality? Xie Qiaoyan frowned slightly. You didn't mean to disturb me, did you? Of course not, I just learned a method. I was testing the quality of the Dao Mark Dan that I refined before. Chen Xiang laughed. Now he took out the Dao Mark Dan he had refined using the sublimation refining method S to release flames. Its appearance carried a layer of purple ester, and Xie Qiaoyan could tell the difference with a glance. The quality of what you just refined is indeed higher than the ones you tested. Quick, let's see what the quality is, Xie Qiaoyan urged. Chen Xiang nodded and then picked up one of the stones. The results of the test made Chen Xiang and Xie Qiaoyan very surprised, as it was actually 3,000 high-quality pills. After that, Chen Xiang took the remaining 3 pellet. Their quality also reached 3,000, making it into a total of 12,000 pills. It's still a little low, Chen Xiang said, because it was much lower than the ones he refined using the crash method. He refined 2 of them using the 3 crash S. How did you do it? Xie Qiaoyan asked. She knew that if Chen Xiang did not use the crash method, the pills refined would be of a lower quality, around 200 to 300, but now it was 3,000. Kiss me and I'll tell you. Chen Xiang laughed. Don't even think about it. Xie Qiaoyan remembered that Chen Xiang had forcefully kissed her, and was secretly angry in his heart, as he immediately closed the door. Hold on. Chen Xiang immediately said, Qiaoyan, do you still remember the Qiao Yu's pill techniques yesterday? Unhindered pill art? Have you learned the unhindered pill art? You only took 1 look to learn it. This is impossible. Xie Qiaoyan was slightly surprised. The quality of the pills refined by Qiao Yu's crossing world pill technique was indeed very high. Of course, I did not watch him learn it, but chose to comprehend it myself. I was able to release a kind of flame that would raise the quality of the medicinal liquid while refining medicinal ingredient. Moreover, releasing this kind of flame is 10 times more than what I used to possess, Chen Xiang said. How is that possible? You only needed to look at it for a moment to realize that pill techniques are that easy to comprehend. I have my own infinite Dan method, but I have not been able to comprehend anything for so many years. Xie Qiaoyan was even more surprised, but she had no choice but to believe Chen Xiang's words. I feel like I'm still improving. I was just using the crossing pill arts and didn't even join the 2 small techniques I taught you. Chen Xiang chuckled. If I use my crash method again, my quality will definitely break through once more. Chen Xiang was excited just thinking about it, but Xie Qiaoyan was a little jealous. She knew that Chen Xiang himself had a very mysterious and powerful pill technique, but now he had even learned the crossing world pill technique. Seeing Xie Qiaoyan's jealous expression, Chen Xiang smirked. Do you want to learn? Xie Qiaoyan coldly snorted. I don't want to. Then he closed the door. C-2452. C-2452 Chen Xiang returned to his room and laid on his bed. He needed to rest well for tomorrow's compet. 1. Tian, if he won, he would have 20 billion jade money. When dawn was about to break, Chen Xiang woke up. Xie Qiaoyan had also woken up very early. She now knew that Chen Xiang was a bad guy, so she was always on guard against him. Of course, with her strength, she could definitely beat Chen Xiang up, but she couldn't do it. Today, I will definitely obtain complete victory. Chen Xiang laughed. There will definitely be a lot of people coming today. The Jiang family's head has a lot of face. There might be more than 10 people from the Dan-G-O-D list of 8 wastelands. Xie Qiaoyan said. She also did not sleep well last night. On one hand, her emotions were complicated by the fact that she had been forcefully kissed, and on the other hand, she was racking her brains to think of how Chen Xiang had managed to comprehend the crossing world pill technique. That's even better. I'll let them know that the Dan-G-O-D list of 8 wastelands is just a child's play. Chen Xiang was now full of confidence. Today, he had competed with Xiao Kuan in refining Dao Mark Dan, and he would use all of the techniques available to him. After all, those were 10 billion. Jiang Xian shouted from outside, Brother Shern, wake up quickly, the sun is S-H-I plus ning on your B-U-T talks. Hearing that, Chen Xiang laughed. This boy has come to find me. Let's go, we will go to the Jiang clan together. The core members of the Jiang clan had also moved into the city. This birthday banquet was only being held with the Partic 1P Asian of the core members of the Jiang clan. They would then invite a few more famous figures to attend. Old guys usually had a lot of face, so they would try their best to invite the big shots, showing that they had a lot of power. Chen Xiang and Xie Xiaoyan walked over to open the door. Originally, Jiang Xian wanted to tease Chen Xiang a little more, but when she saw Xie Xiaoyan's ice-cold beautiful face, she immediately became speechless. Jiang Xian had also heard that Chen Xiang and Xie Xiaoyan were very close. Now that he saw Chen Xiang and Xie Xiaoyan coming out together, and it was so early, Xie Xiaoyan must have spent the night inside. So the two of you are together. Jiang Xian coughed dryly, then laughed. That's good too, Master Xie is also an esteemed guest of our Jiang family, let's go together. Chen Xiang patted Jiang Xian's shoulder and laughed. Don't be so formal, we are all on the same side. Jiang Xian, you actually didn't mention this to me. Jiang Xian knew right away that it was Xie Xiaoyan who told Chen Xiang, so he curled his lips. This is too embarrassing. Sing, of course I won't tell you. Although I left the limitless battlefield, my whole body relaxed, and people aren't staying in that place. Xie Xiaoyan also had the same thought. Jiang Xian had his own carriage, so he only got in after he invited Chen Xiang and Xie Xiaoyan in. Brother Shen, you are now a famous person with 10 billion in wealth. You are a great benefactor. My grandfather was extremely happy when he heard that I invited you here. Jiang Xian laughed. Today, I will be sparring pill refining with Xiao Kuan at the lower price. I will defeat him ruthlessly. At that time, will your grandfather be unhappy? Chen Xiang said. Of course not. If something like that happened during his birthday banquet, it would be a good thing for him. In the future, when he brags with others, he would be able to talk about a lot of things. Jiang Xian laughed. Oh right, I didn't prepare any present. Chen Xiang looked at Xie Xiaoyan, then asked, Xiaoyan, have you prepared a birthday present? I forgot about that. Of course. I thought you were already prepared. Xie Xiaoyan said as he took out a wrapped case. This is an emperor pill I refined. Its main effect is to let it have a young appearance. Master Xie, you are so generous. If my grandfather knew, he would definitely be very happy. He has always wanted to regain his youthful appearance like this. Jiang Xian said in shock. The birthday present I gave him should be the Dao Mark Dan that I refined. It's useless to him, but it will make a lot of sense. Chen Xiang laughed. Could the quality be very high? Jiang Xian knew immediately. Of course, that will be the unique Dao Mark Dan with the highest quality. Chen Xiang laughed. He gave Xie Xiaoyan the pill he refined previously. It had a 2% chance of quality, but at that time, he had yet to learn the sublimation refining method. Xie Xiaoyan also wanted to know how high the quality of Dao Mark Dan would be after Chen Xiang comprehended that kind of pill technique. After Chen Xiang and Xie Xiaoyan got off the carriage, they attracted the attention of the crowd, and many people started to discuss about them softly. Regarding those rumors, Xie Xiaoyan did not mind them at all. After all, she felt that being together with Chen Xiang was something that had a lot of face. Jiang Xian led Chen Xiang and to a luxurious hall. There were many tables full of food and drinks. The moment Chen Xiang entered, he saw Ning Quan and Huang Tian's stinky faces, and they also saw Chen Xiang. Jiang Xian's grandfather was called Jiang Yingqi and was a very straightforward old man. There were a lot of wrinkles on his face, but he had a face full of smiles. Xie Xiaoyan went forward and said a few words of congratulations, then presented his own gift. This is Master Xie's unique cosmetics pill. It's a low-grade Emperor stage pill. It's most suitable for an old guy like me. Many thanks. Jiang Yingqi never thought that Xie Xiaoyan would gift him such a generous gift. He immediately thanked him. His voice was very loud, causing many of the pill refining masters to be secretly surprised upon hearing it. There's no need to be so polite. Elder Jiang, why don't you try out the effects of this pill? Xie Xiaoyan said. Jiang Yingqi ate the pill on the spot, and after consuming it, he returned to his normal appearance as a middle-aged man. His hair became completely black, which made many of the wrinkled elderly people feel extremely envious. Xie Xiaoyan took out such a gift. If she needed help in the future, Jiang Yingqi would definitely help out. It showed just how strong Jiang Yingqi was. Otherwise, Xie Xiaoyan would not gift him such a gift. Normally, alchemist above Dan Jiao D list of 8 wastelands would be called a master. That was why Jiang Yingqi and Jiang Xian called him that. This is Master Shin? Jiang Yingqi looked at Chen Xiang and chuckled. Although Chen Xiang was able to defeat him wasn't in the Dan Jiao D list of 8 wastelands, in Jiang Yingqi's eyes, he was still a master. I am not a master yet, I have yet to refine a Dijia Dan. Chen Xiang laughed faintly. Elder Jiang, I really do not know what kind of gift to prepare for you, I am truly sorry. But later, I will compete with Mr. Qiao Kuan from the Skylane sect, and at that time, I will gift the Dao Mark Dan I refined to you, how about it? No problem. I heard that the quality of your single Dao Mark Dan exceeds 10,000. This is extremely rare. To me, this is a rare collection. Jiang Yingqi laughed. When you compete with Master Qiao later, I hope that you will not hurt our friends. Hi+P, this is not good. Of course not, the reason we arranged to compete here today is to add fuel to the fire. Chen Xiang said, then looked at Qiao Kuan and Qiao Yu father and son. Beside him was an old man, and that old man was clearly the leader of the sky-piercing sect. Qiao Wushuang is here too. I thought he was in closed-door cultivation. He is ranked 2nd in Dan Jiao D list of 8 wastelands. Xie Xiaoyan said. Jiang Yingqi laughed. Not only is Grandmaster Wu Shuang from the Skysword sect here, even the infinite master of the limitless Pill Dao is there. He is over there. C-2453. C-2453 Chen Xiang and Xie Xiaoyan looked in the direction that Jiang Yingqi pointed. There, a white-haired old man wearing a Taiji Yin and Yang map robe was conversing with a few other elders. In the past, Infinite Master of the Limitless Pill Dao was ranked 2nd, but later on, he was defeated by Qiao Wushuang. However, later on, Infinite Master also defeated 3rd place, and was still ranked 3rd in the Dan Jiao D list of 8 wastelands. Jiang Xian said. Then what about the first? Why didn't they go for the 1st place? Chen Xiang asked. The one ranked 1st is very mysterious. I only know that he is called Kong Ming. He did not have any background, but his pill techniques are very superb. Grandmaster Wu Shuang and Infinite Master both lost miserably to him. Jiang Yingqi said. Xie Xiaoyan also nodded his head, and it rarely appears even when it's fake for so many years. Everyone would also dare to challenge him, because he would have to pay a huge price. As for what the price is, I will have to ask the person in charge of the Dan Jiao D list of 8 wastelands in charge to know. Jiang Xian patted Chen Xiang's shoulder and laughed. Master Shen, with so many masters present, do you feel pressured? Chen Xiang chuckled. I don't feel the slightest bit of pressure, but I am looking forward to fighting with Mr. Qiao Kuan as soon as possible. A lot of people gradually came over, and everyone sat at their seat. Chen Xiang, Xie Xiaoyan and Jiang Xian all sat at the same table. At this time, Jiang Yingqi had also walked up to the raised platform constructed above the Great Hall. After exchanging some polite words, he publicly expressed his gratitude to Xie Xiaoyan for the Beauty Emperor pill he gave to him, allowing him to regain his middle-aged appearance. His current fame was so great, and was also paid much attention to by the masters. After all, Chen Xiang had defeated Xie Xiaoyan before, and even won over that many jade money, and now, he was even prepared to bet 10 billion with Xiao Kuan. Today, 2 of my friends on the stage will compete and refine a Dao Mark Dan just to cheer this old man on. Although it is a relatively ordinary Dao Mark Dan, it will be the highest quality furnace that they have ever refined. Jiang Yingqi laughed loudly. Now, I invite Master Qiao and Master Shun to come up. Chen Xiang and Xiao Kuan immediately walked over and cupped their hands to everyone on the stage. In order to increase the pressure on themselves, they all took out 10 billion jade money to gamble, and this might be the richest bet in the city. If I can personally witness this at my birthday banquet, it would be a very generous congratulatory gift. Jiang Yingqi laughed openly. This matter had already spread since yesterday, so the match between Chen Xiang and Chen Xiang was also the focus of attention today. At this time, Qiao Wushuang walked up as well. Just as he walked up, the infinite master of the limitless pill Dao also came up. Grandmaster Wu Shuang and Infinite Master are currently ranked 2nd or 3rd in Danjiao D list of 8 wastelands. With them watching the compet. 1. Tie-in on the spot, we can guarantee a fair certificate. Jiang Yingqi then asked the 2 masters. I'll leave this to you too. Before the compet. 1. Tie-in, both parties have an hour to adjust their state of mind. Qiao Wushuang said blandly. He was Qiao Kuan's father, a leader of the Skylands sect. Even though his voice was calm, it carried a sense of majesty. That Grandmaster Wushuang did not say anything. He just stood to the side and watched. Mr. Qiao Kuan is also from the top of the Danjiao D list of 8 wastelands. Although he is only ranked 15th, he has been ranked since many years ago. He definitely has improved a lot over the years, and even his son has challenged Xie Qiaoyan. This was what Ning Quan had said. Furthermore, he entered the Danjiao D list of 8 wastelands a lot earlier than Xie Qiaoyan. It's just that for the past few years, he didn't want to challenge the higher ranks, otherwise his ranking would have been even higher. Was Qiao Yu's father when they competed. Furthermore, he was an extremely famous master, so he might be able to refine a single pellet at least 5,000 of them. If it was 4 or 5 of the Dao Mark Dan, the total quality would be 20,000. It seems that after the 3 great native bankers have built the city, it's time for the Danjiao D list of 8 wastelands to be updated. Many masters have made great progress, and their rankings are also from long ago. Everyone should not underestimate Chen Xiang. He is still very young right now, and his cultivation is still in the early stages of the Dao Dan realm. Everyone was discussing, after all this era was dominated by pills, otherwise the alchemist above the Danjiao D list of 8 wastelands would not be called a master. Chen Xiang took out the heavenly furnace. He felt that the heavenly furnace was enough to handle today's compet. 1. Tie-in. Of course, if Qiao Wushuang and Infinite Master were not by his side, he would have taken out his chuangs. Hi plus God furnace. This pill furnace looks a little familiar, Jiang Yingqi suddenly said, and then he walked up the stage. Can I take a look? Jiang Yingqi asked. Of course you can. In any case, I'll have the 2 master check it out later. Chen Xiang smiled slightly. Qiao Wushuang and Infinite Master also frowned slightly, because the pattern on the outside of the pill furnace looked very mysterious. Sure enough, Jiang Yingqi exclaimed, "What's the name of this pill furnace?" Heavenly Furnace, Chen Xiang said. Qiao Wushuang and Infinite Master were startled, their faces full of shock. This is Long Jiuxiao's work. Infinite Master quickly replied, but he has already been missing for many years. In the past, he was Eternal Life Native Bank's famous money maker. He's also a very terrifying dragon. Qiao Wushuang frowned. How did you obtain this pill furnace? I picked it up, Chen Xiang said. Qiao Wushuang and Infinite Master both had looks of disbelief. How could this be picked up so easily? Akuan, take out your pill furnace, Qiao Wushuang said. Qiao Kun immediately took out a three-legged pill furnace. It looked like a cauldron, but it was not. This is the Jutian Dan Ding. Jiang Yingqi was surprised. Grandmaster Wushuang, this is the cauldron you use to concoct pills. I've already set it on to a kun. Qiao Wushuang said. Junior is ill-informed. May I ask if this Jutian Dan Ding is powerful? Chen Xiang looked at the extremely ancient cauldron that he was facing. This is a heavenly artifact. Qiao Wushuang said indifferently. It's much stronger than your heavenly furnace. So that's how it is. Chen Xiang praised. I also have a heavenly artifact, but that thing is too small and can't be used to refine pills. Senior Wushuang's Jutian Dan Ding is truly envious of the younger generation. Chen Xiang actually had a heavenly artifact as well? This was something like a phoenix feather or a Qilin horn, and there were only a handful of people in the entire wasteland who had such a thing. Even Chen Xiang, the guy from the Dao Dan realm, had one. Can you broaden my horizons? Jiang Yingqi asked quickly. C-2454. C-2454. Chen Xiang and Qiao Kun were currently in a very good state. They were very happy and thought that they would win, being able to get the 6 divine artifacts from the other party. Let's prepare to start. Let's check the pill furnace. Qiao Wushuang said to the Infinite Master. He even purposely revealed a proud smile towards him. After the inspection, Qiao Wushuang said, Since this compet 1. Tie-in is so important, how about we raise the time limit to 4 hours? No problem. Chen Xiang nodded his head. The more time said, the more beneficial it would be for him, and Qiao Kun, who was on the other side, also thought the same. When the time comes, all the testing tools will be used by the 3 great native banks. All 3 great native banks are represented at the scene, and when the time comes, they will use their 3 great instruments to test it out. Qiao Wushuang said. Alright, I have a lot of trust in the 3 great native banks. Chen Xiang said, then took out the Dao Mark Dan's medicinal ingredients. The Dao Mark Dan was a type of pill that could be said to be difficult to make and difficult to make. The current compet 1 tie-in was about how to make higher quality Dao Mark Dan. After both parties took out the Dao Mark Dan's medicinal ingredients, Qiao Wushuang and Infinite Master inspected them once more. Then, Jiang Yingqi announced the start of the compet 1 tie-in. He was already very familiar with the heavenly furnace that Chen Xiang was using to refine pills. Whether there was a pill furnace or not, the speed of the heavenly furnace was the same as the Chuang's Hi plus God furnace. If he were to refine a pill that he was not familiar with, the use of Chuang's Hi plus God furnace would be more stable. This was because Chuang's Hi plus God furnace had an extremely strong flame, and all sorts of mystical powers within the furnace would be able to play a stable role. He was only worried that the secret of the Chuang's Hi plus God furnace would be exposed. After all, they were still Qiao Wushuang and Infinite Master. From the very beginning, Chen Xiang had always used the sublimation refining method with all his might, releasing extremely strong purple flames, and from beginning to end, he had always used these flames to refine Dao Mark Dan. In addition, he would also join the crash method. This way, he would be able to continuously improve its quality and break through to the next level. Very quickly, he refined all of the spirit grain's ingredient. This was only for an hour. Then, he used the pattern refining technique to quickly refine all of the spirit grain into a clump of medicinal liquid. Currently, he was still using the purple flames to refine it. As long as he continued to refine it, he would be able to slowly improve the quality of the medicinal liquid. Qiao Kun on the opposite side was the same. Chen Xiang had learned the sublimation refining method from their unhindered pellet technique, only that the opponent had a golden flame. When this purple flame burns, it consumes an extraordinary amount of Daoyuan immortal power, but it can also increase the quality of the medicinal pellet through the usage of the flame. It can also convert the Daoyuan immortal power into a special power, and refine the pellet. After Chen Xiang stabilized the clump of medicinal liquid, he split it into 8 clumps. He was going to use the crash method. Before using it, he had secretly used the black tortoise marks to form a spatial defense against the walls of the pill furnace. This would be able to block out the shock waves from hitting the furnace. Because he had the experience of colliding with it many times, during the first collision, Chen Xiang was very proficient and easily passed through. At this time, he was using his purple flames to burn the small particles that came out of the explosion. The quality of these small particles rose very fast under the incineration of the purple flames. Could it be that because of the collision, the absorption of the purple fire's sublimation force sped up? Chen Xiang also didn't think that it would be like this. He had never tried it before. He quickly condensed these small particles into a group, then divided them into 8 groups. After using the purple flames to burn for a period of time, he once again began to collide with them. A violent purple light burst out from within the pill furnace along with a powerful shockwave. Luckily, he had already used his spatial energy to isolate the pill furnace. What a strong explosive force! Chen Xiang was incomparably shocked. This was only the second crash, but it was actually even more ferocious than the first 3. It could only mean that the quality of the medicine crystal had increased by a lot under the purple flame's incineration. The small particles that had rammed into the pill furnace were just like the Milky Way on a summer night, but they were emitting purple rays of light. He once again released the purple flames to burn and sublimate. Chen Xiang and Xiao Kuan had not even finished refining the pill. It seemed that the time limit of 4 hours had made them feel much more relaxed, and they did not have a sense of urgency in their hearts, which would allow them to refine even higher quality pills. Chen Xiang had already split the newly formed medicine crystal into 8 groups, and was preparing to proceed with the 3 crashes. There were many people who had witnessed Chen Xiang and Xie Qiaoyan refining Dao Mark Dan during their compet. 1 Tian. At that time, Chen Xiang's pill furnaces shook continuously, with some movement that was very strong, but it was very stable now. Ning Quan and Huang Tian obviously wished for Chen Xiang to lose. This way, not only would Chen Xiang lose 10 billion jade money, he would also lose a very precious heavenly artifact. If Chen Xiang won, they would die of jealousy and hate Chen Xiang even more. With so many experts present, even if Ning Quan and Huang Tian wanted to disturb Chen Xiang, they didn't have the strength to do so. If they were discovered, the consequences would be severe. Although Xie Qiaoyan wanted to stop Chen Xiang from making a bet earlier, she knew that Chen Xiang had a high chance of winning, because Chen Xiang had just learned the sublimation refining method. She also knew that Chen Xiang had never tried mixing the ingredients together like this before, so it was hard to say whether he would succeed or not. Furthermore, she was more worried about Xiao Kuan. Xiao Kuan had always been an expert in the Crossing Worlds pill art, and was even a pill god of the Dan god list of 8 wastelands. Now that he used the most powerful pill furnace in the entire wasteland, he was extremely strong. Chen Xiang was still going to refine a single pill this time. If this medicine crystal was to split into a few groups to compress, then the pressure would definitely be much less. If he were to compress a very large medicine crystal into a small pellet, the quality would definitely be very high, it would be even higher than dispersing. However, this was risky and very difficult. This was also the reason why Xie Qiaoyan always liked to separate when competing against Chen Xiang before, because there was a possibility that something might go wrong. As long as there was even the slightest mistake, it would be fatal. For example, during the first compet, 1 Time between Chen Xiang and the Dao Mark Dan that he had refined, they had failed, but the quality was still very high. Very quickly, the 4 hours were over. Xiao Kuan was the first to complete it. He took out 4 golden Dao Mark Dan S from the pill furnace and started to condense the pills separately, thus it would be much easier and faster. C2455 Happy Betting. C2455 Happy Betting. Shin Xiang took out her own 6 realms God cup. This could also be considered a heavenly God equipment, but it was a bit smaller and its usage was not as great as a 6 realms mirrors. Of course, this was only for the current Shin Xiang, because he already had the creation God well, so 6 realms God cup would not be used often. The use of 6 realms mirrors was the biggest, and they had a lot of power, so of course he wouldn't take them out. It is indeed small. Jiang Yingqi said, "This is really a divine weapon. What use does it have?" The main reason is because it can increase the age of the medicinal herbs. For example, if you add a 10,000-year ginseng, it can increase the age by 1 to 2,000 years in a short period of time. Shen Xiang said. When the alchemists present heard it, they couldn't help but exclaim in surprise. This was a very useful treasure for alchemists. Huang Tian suddenly understood why Shen Xiang had so many medicinal ingredients. It was obvious that he was relying on this small cup. "Can you demonstrate it on the spot?" Qiao Wushuang asked. He was extremely interested in the cup. If it had such an effect, then wouldn't it be able to obtain high-quality medicinal ingredients in a short amount of time? Those high-leveled pills required a very high grade of medicinal ingredient. For example, the coincidence pellet that Xie Qiaoyan gave Jiang Yingqi required medicinal ingredients that were at least tens of thousands of years old. "How can I hide it?" Shen Xiang asked. He deliberately took out this 6 realms God cup. He also had a goal, but he was not sure if he would be able to achieve it. "I have a ginseng here which is worth 1,000 years. See if you can make it older in your cup." Qiao Wushuang said. Many of the alchemists present still had some doubts towards the very old-looking cup in Shen Xiang's hand. Only if it was able to display the power of the cup would everyone believe it. "No problem." Shen Xiang smiled slightly. "If you grow up to an even higher age, you should still recognize this ginseng, right?" "Of course I recognize it. This type of ginseng can only be grown by us, the Sky Palace sect. We used the Dao Yuan God power to refine the water we watered, so the ginseng definitely recognized us." Qiao Wushuang said. Shen Xiang took the ginseng, placed it into the cup, and said, "Wait a moment." Everyone patiently waited. After a while, Shen Xiang took out the ginseng. It was actually a bit big. Although it was only a little big, Qiao Wushuang was still surprised. He unbelievably took the ginseng from Shen Xiang. "This is indeed the ginseng that I gave you earlier. In just a moment it has grown for about 100 years. The heavenly God equipment is indeed magical." All the alchemists were endlessly envious. With this kind of divine tool, it was very easy to produce medicinal ingredients of a higher grade. She had refined the Qingyuan Dan's medicinal ingredients that Shen Xiang had given her before. At that time, she was still curious why Shen Xiang had so many fresh medicinal ingredients. She felt that it was clearly from this cup. "Grandmaster Wushuang, this Jutian Danding of yours is not weak, right? Is there anything magical about it?" Shen Xiang asked. "Can you broaden my horizons?" The most amazing thing about Jutian Danding is that it can gather the heaven and earth aura. When refining pills, it can automatically absorb the heaven and earth aura to enhance the quality of the medicinal herbs. It will be of great help to the concocting of pills, so my cup at the Jutian Danding won't be any worse than yours. Qiao Wushuang said, but he wanted Shen Xiang's cup very much. "Your heavenly God equipment all have their own strengths," Jiang Yingqi said. "Of course, the more heavenly God equipment, the better." Qiao Wushuang really wanted Shen Xiang's cup now, and Shen Xiang also wanted Qiao Wushuang's Jutian Danding. He felt that it would be of great use to him, as it was a pill furnace that could improve her quality. Now he understood why Chiao Kuan dared to bet 10 billion jade coin with him. It was because he had this cauldron. Shen Xiang. I know you just won 10 billion jade coin, that's why you made this bet with Ah Kuan. In that case, you yourself are a person who doesn't think much of jade coin, it would be meaningless to bet on jade coin. Qiao Wushuang suddenly said. Oh? What would a bet be more interesting? I won't take the risk of losing my life. Shen Xiang asked, but he had already guessed it in his heart. This was also the reason why he took out the 6 realms G.O.D. cup gambling heavenly G.O.D. equipment. If you lose, give us your cup, if we lose, the Jutian Danding will be yours. Qiao Wushuang said. When the crowd heard this, they immediately took in a deep breath. They actually wanted to gamble on such a priceless treasure. Jiang Yingqi was shocked, he frowned. This is not good. Jade coin S can still win back, but this one is very rarely used, and every heavenly G.O.D. equipment is unique. It would be very difficult to find another one if they lost. Elder Jiang, what we're playing at now is the heartbeat. Only then will it be interesting and exciting. Qiao Wushuang faintly smiled, looked at Shen Xiang and closely questioned. Do you dare? Xie Qiaoyan hurriedly said to Shen Xiang. Don't do it, you want to bet on something like the heavenly G.O.D. equipment? Don't be silly. Hurry up and reject it. No one will laugh at you. Why would I not dare? Shen Xiang laughed heartily. I like to play with these kinds of heartbeats the most. How about this? While we bet on the heavenly G.O.D. equipment, we will bet another 10 billion. Only then will we be satisfied. The winners will be satisfied, while the losers will be satisfied. Heroic spirit. I like it. Just as you said, heavenly G.O.D. equipments will increase the bet by another 10 billion. Qiao Wushuang laughed out loud. At this time, the Grand Master at the side was so jealous that he could die, because he felt that Shen Xiang had no chance of winning. Everyone present was also discussing Shen Xiang being a prodigal, to actually use such a thing to make a bet. What she didn't know was that the reason Shen Xiang took out this 6 realms G.O.D. cup was to lure her to the other party to gamble with Jutian Danding. How about a blood contract? Although I have already said the Jutian Danding to a Kuan. I am still the one in charge of the Jutian Danding's maintenance. This way, we won't have to worry about the other party reneging on their promise while we're refining our pills. Qiao Wushuang said again. That's exactly what I want. Shen Xiang nodded and smiled. Just as Xie Qiaoyan was about to go up, Shen Xiang immediately sent a sound transmission to her. Sister Qiaoyan, don't stop me. This is my chance to obtain his Jutian Danding. You clearly know that his Jutian Danding has the ability to raise quality, but you still want to bet with him? If he does not use the Jutian Danding, that would be fine. Xie Qiaoyan immediately said. Don't make a blood contract, you won't be able to exchange this cup for 10 billion. This gamble is too risky. Nothing much, the big rewards are the big ones. Shen Xiang had already made a blood contract with Qiao Wushuang. If the 6 realms G.O.D. cup was still of great use to him, he definitely wouldn't take it out. Therefore, he didn't have anything to worry about right now. Qiao Kun and Qiao Wushuang were currently laughing heartily, praising Shen Xiang's straightforwardness. It was obvious that they had a lot of confidence in him. C-2456. C-2456 Qiao Kun had performed the best in refining Dao Mark Dan this time, so he believed that its quality would definitely be very high. It seems like the overall quality is quite scary this time. Qiao Wushuang laughed. He could not wait to see how high the quality would be. The 3 elders from the 3 great native banks also walked up. They first took out other pills to test their own equipment to confirm that it was correct. Xie Qiaoyan also walked up and took out his own pills to test the 3 instruments. Dad, this time, the quality will definitely be very high. It will be the highest in history. Qiao Kun was very confident. However, he was still unable to take the test, because Chen Xiang was not done yet. If he took the test now, it would affect Chen Xiang, so he was not allowed to. Mine is good too. Chen Xiang let out a long sigh. He opened the pill furnace and took out a deep purple pellet. It didn't look like a Dao Mark Dan in the slightest, but it was indeed made from Dao Mark Dan's medicinal ingredients. The color of this super high-quality pill was also different, so no one felt it was strange. They were only concerned about the quality. You can start the test now. The first one that you refined is the one you tested, Chen Xiang said. All right. Qiao Kun walked over and placed his S.H.I. plus Ning Dao Mark Dan onto a pit. 8,000. Jiang Yingqi shouted in shock. A single pellet for 8,000, this caused the people in the hall to let out a startled cry. Previously, when Xie Xiaoyan and Xiao Yu was competing, the total number of Dao Gu Dan that was refined had reached 5,000, this was already considered very high. But now, Qiao Kun had reached 8,000, which was more than Xie Xiaoyan by 3,000. Qiao Kun had tested them using 3 native bank S-test discs, and all she had received were 8,000 points. Xie Xiaoyan had also taken out her test discs. She was only thinking for Chen Xiang's sake. It would make her feel more at ease. Even using Xie Xiaoyan's testing equipment, it was still worth 8,000 points. The first 8,000. Qiao Kun waved the pellet towards the people on stage and placed it into another jade box. Then, he picked up the second pellet to test its quality. 9,000. This Qiao Kun was Qiao Wushuang's son, but the pill he refined was of such high quality. This was definitely because of that Jutian Danding. He finally understood why he lost to Qiao Wushuang all those years ago. The second pill cost 9,000 yuan, and there was another commotion in the audience. It seemed like the 4 pellets Qiao Kun refined were not of the same quality. These pills had also been tested on the 4-array disc. They were all of the same quality. Xie Xiaoyan's face became even colder. She was very worried that Chen Xiang would lose. The third pill was still 9,000. At the time of the fourth pill, it had actually reached 10,000 pills. The total quality of the 4 pills is 36,000. Qiao Wushuang smiled at Chen Xiang. The entire process of the test was very fair. You saw it yourself. During the second compet, 1. Tie-in between Xie Xiaoyan and the inner sect disciples. The quality of the Dao Mark Dan that Chen Xiang had refined was over 20,000, which was still around 15,000 away from Qiao Kun's. And now that he had joined the sublimation refining method, it was unknown just how much it had increased. Chen Xiang nodded his head. With such high quality, even if I lose, I am convinced of it. It's your turn now. Qiao Kun smiled, as if the 6 realms God cup was already theirs. It's my turn. Chen Xiang's expression was calm, so much so that it was hard to tell if he was worried or not. Chen Xiang was very confident in his own pill. He could refine more than 20,000 magic method furnace before, but now, after adding the sublimation refining method, he would definitely level up by a lot. How high can a single grain be? So what if it's 20,000? Ning Quan sneered. If we give him 30,000, he won't even be able to win. Huang Tian also nodded his head. Chen Xiang only has that much power, he only knows how to refine single pills. Huang Tian, to think that you are an alchemist. How can you not know that a single pill is the hardest to refine? Hearing his words, Chen Xiang smiled faintly and then placed the purple Dao Mark Dan in his hand onto the pit. Very quickly, the quality was shown. The numbers left everyone dumbfounded. 57,000. Chen Xiang was also shocked. He felt that 40,000 was enough. He didn't think that there would be that much more. The first one who did not believe him was Qiao Wushuang, which meant that he would lose his beloved Jutian Danding. He quickly picked up Chen Xiang's pellet and placed it on another testing machine, showing that he still lost 57,000. He was unwilling to give up. He tried a few more times, but they were all the same, and later he even took out his own. It was still 57,000 yuan. Impossible, impossible. Qiao Wuxuang read these words as he shook his head. He could not accept this reality. You've lost. Chen Xiang gave a bland laugh. According to the blood contract, you two are going to give me the Jutian Danding and the 10 billion jade money. In the quiet hall below, a wave of exclamations and discussions broke out. Huang Tian and Ning Quan were so angry that their hearts were bleeding. Chen Xiang had 2 heavenly artifacts now. Compared to the 10 billion jade money, it was even more eye-catching. Grandmaster Wuxuang, hurry up! Chen Xiang laughed. Xie Xiaoyan was already stunned beside Chen Xiang, and was unable to say a word. Although she was not the one who won, she felt excited just thinking about it. Chen Xiang alone had 2 heavenly artifacts, and the quality of the single pill he refined was actually so high. Long ago, Chen Xiang had felt that no matter what pill it was, there was no limit to the quality of it during refinement. At the very least, he was constantly breaking through his so-called limit. Qiao Wuxuang's hands trembled as he handed the Jutian Danding over to Chen Xiang. His face was filled with depression, and so was Qiao Kuan. Just one Jutian Danding had fallen. Even if they lost 100 billion, they would not do such a thing. But this Jutian Danding had taken half of their lives. Although Infinite Master was expressionless, he was still overjoyed in his heart. He decided to wait for this matter to pass and then challenged Qiao Wuxuang. Because the last time Qiao Wuxuang defeated him, she was relying on this Jutian Danding. However, Infinite Master was still very jealous of Chen Xiang. The 2 heavenly artifacts in Chen Xiang's hands were both his dreams, yet they were both actually in his possession. Chen Xiang smiled as he received the Jutian Danding and the 10 billion jade money. At this time, Qiao Wuxuang and Qiao Kuan both wished that they could kill him, but they did not dare to. Thank you, you two. If you two get another heavenly artifact, we can have another round. Chen Xiang laughed. Again? They didn't even come if they were beaten to death, was what Qiao Wuxuang and Qiao Kuan had said to them. Even though they really wanted to kill Chen Xiang, under the control of the 3 great native banks, doing so was undoubtedly equivalent to committing suicide. If they left the city controlled by the 3 great native banks, they would definitely not hesitate to make their move. Elder Jiang, this is a congratulatory gift for you. Chen Xiang Pa, said the purple Dao Mark Dan over to Jiang Yingqi, and laughed. This Dao Mark Dan isn't very useful. I hope Elder Jiang does not dislike it. Why would I mind? This pill has a huge meaning. Jiang Yingqi sighed. In his heart, this was already considered a great gift. To have nearly 60,000 quality Dao Mark Dan in his hands was already very heavy. C-2457. C-2457. Chen Xiang only smiled. He did not seem very excited. He was already used to this kind of thing, and this was not the first time he had won such a good thing. Qiao Wuxuang looked a lot older now. After all, no one would be happy if they lost such a precious thing. After Chen Xiang walked off the stage, Jiang Xian also quickly came over and praised Chen Xiang's strength. He even asked Chen Xiang to take out the Jutian Danding S and show it to him. In this birthday banquet, only Qiao Wuxuang and the others were sad. Although the others looked all right on the surface, they were secretly gloating in their hearts. He had originally wanted Xie Xiaoyan to stay in the villa for a few more days. However, Xie Xiaoyan said that he had something he needed to do and wanted to return to the infinite divine mountain. He would be leaving the city for a period of time. Returning to the villa, Chen Xiang took out the Jutian Danding and easily fused with the cauldron. He unexpectedly discovered that Qiao Wuxuang and the others had never merged with the Jutian Danding before, which also meant that they were unable to unleash the power of the Jutian Danding. This Jutian Danding seems to be much stronger than that 6 Realms Ding. It should be considered very strong amongst the heavenly artifact. Chen Xiang played around with it and praised it. He felt that Jutian Danding were about as precious as Chuang's. Hi plus G-O-D furnace, and the strong thing about Chuang's Hi plus G-O-D furnace was that the flames they released were extremely terrifying. Jutian Danding were very suitable for concocting pills. They could concoct higher quality pills. Let's give it a try. Chen Xiang took out the Qingyuan Dan's medicinal ingredients and placed them inside the Jutian Danding to refine them, using the same sublimation refining method. However, right from the start, he had felt that this Jutian Danding required a very large amount of Daoyuan immortal power to maintain its circulation and absorb the energy of heaven and earth. Afterwards, it condensed into a special type of energy within the pill furnace. Even if I am an ordinary alchemist, the quality will definitely be very high. Chen Xiang calculated for a bit before he continued to refine the medicinal ingredients. 2 hours had passed, and he had refined 10 Qingyuan Dan. He was not clear as to how high the quality was, but he knew that the quality was definitely high. 2 more, and of a very high quality. Chen Xiang's 10 Qingyuan Dan said, "It seems that no matter what pill this furnace refines, the quality will become very high, and it will also need the Daoyuan immortal power very badly. Although it could increase the quality, there was a price to be paid as well, and that was that the consumption of Daoyuan immortal power was 10 times more than that of other pill furnaces." Chen Xiang calculated in his heart. If he were to use a large amount of pills to concoct pills, this pill furnace would not be too suitable. If he was going to concoct a high-quality pill, this pill furnace would be extremely good. I had thought that this pill furnace would be more suitable to concoct pills than the Chuang's Hi plus G-O-D furnace. Chen Xiang then took out the Chuang's Hi plus G-O-D furnace again. The Chuang's Hi plus G-O-D furnace can refine anything. The Jutian Danding might not be able to do it. Chen Xiang had quite a few Qingyuan Dan in his possession. After eating a few, he started to cultivate. He needed to raise his strength. If not, he would need to use up a lot of Daoyuan immortal power to refine those high-leveled pellets in the future. Right now, he was only at the first stage of Dao Dan realm. The advantage of Dao Dan realm was that it could comprehend a stronger power of the ancient code. At the same time, it could also strengthen the Dao core and quickly create more Daoyuan immortal power. After Chen Xiang ate the Qingyuan Dan, he began to circulate his cultivation technique and cultivate his spirit pellet above divine sense C. Only by making this spirit pellet grow would he be able to better understand the power of the ancient code. The city that the 3 great native banks had jointly constructed was called Three Money Divine City. The scale of the city was extremely large, and the center was gradually becoming bustling with activity. In order to make the city even more lively, the 3 great native banks lowered their standards and invited more people to enter these cities. Chen Xiang had secluded himself in the villa for 3 months, and he had eaten a lot of Qingyuan Dan before finally stepping into the second level of Dao Dan realm. At this moment, he could feel the extremely strong spatial and flame energy of heaven and earth. However, the higher his cultivation, the more he would be able to absorb. In other words, Dao Dan realm could be used to borrow the power of the heavenly Dao. The higher the cultivation, the more one could use it. The last time he fought with Jiang Xian suddenly increased his power by a lot because he borrowed the power of the heavenly Dao. Chu Hongqing and Yang Xiangyin had also grown quite a few medicinal herbs in the Yu Yao Mountain Villa. The majority of them belonged to Qingyuan Dan and Dao Gu Dan. We'll talk after we return to the Hundreds of Flowers village. Bring the Dao Gu Dan back. When Chen Xiang walked out of the villa, the Dao Gu Dan had both the use of the Dao Dan realm and the Dao Pa realm, and their main purpose was to strengthen the body. The stronger the body, the stronger the Dao core would be. If the Dao core borrowed more heavenly energy, the body would also be able to withstand more. Otherwise, the body would be too weak to withstand a large amount of heavenly energy and might even cause serious injuries. Therefore, in the Tao Dan realm, it was common for people to have a victory in a battle with a cultivation level above them, and to have a victory in a battle with a cultivation above them. They would usually have a strong fleshly body. Chen Xiang opened the door and walked out. He saw an old man sitting at the entrance. "Master!" Chen Xiang was shocked and immediately pulled Huang Jintian in. "Why are you so down and down? Didn't I give you quite a few jade money?" "Well, we have too many people, and we also encountered many things on the way, but at least our journey was smooth sailing. I have settled them down." Huang Jintian chuckled. "Are you pretending to be pitiful so I can give you jade money?" Chen Xiang curled his lips. "Where? I am not that kind of person." Just as Huang Jintian finished speaking, he saw Chen Xiang pass over a storage bag. "I knew that you were a filial child. Quite a few." Huang Jintian laughed. He knew that with Chen Xiang's 20 billion jade money, they would definitely not treat him badly. "Master, you have nothing better to do anyways. How about this? Help me bring something back, and give it to Qilian." Chen Xiang chuckled. "No problem." Huang Jintian promised straightforwardly. He was indeed free. Chen Xiang took out a jade box and handed it over to Huang Jintian. Inside the box were many Dao Gu Dan's medicinal ingredients and a jade plate. Inside the box, there was also the memories Chen Xiang had inserted into it. He had yet to refine the Dao Gu Dan, but he felt that it would not be difficult. Feng Yujie and the rest would definitely be able to solve the problem that was troubling them, and it would not take long for him to go back and forth with the Hundreds of Flowers village. He was just worried that once he left the city built by the three great native banks, he would be targeted. Huang Jintian had told him before that the undead divine race back in the Star Law Divine Realm era would be able to calculate where he was. If he were to leave the city, he would coincidentally get caught by those undead divine race. C. 2458. C. 2458. Huang Jintian took the things that Chen Xiang had given him and left the city, while he planned to refine a Dao Gu Dan. "Brother Shen, are you inside?" This was Jiang Xian's voice. Chen Xiang immediately went to open the door and laughed. "I just came out and you're already here. I've got someone waiting here. When they saw you open the door, they informed me immediately, and I came as fast as I could." Jiang Xian laughed. "Come in," Chen Xiang said. "No, I have an urgent matter to discuss with you." Jiang Xian took out a piece of communication jade symbol paper and said, "Take a look for yourself. I heard that it was Xie Qiaoyan who gave it to you. I don't know what was inside. It should be an urgent matter." Back then, Xie Qiaoyan said that there was an important matter to attend to when she returned to the Infinite Divine Mountain, but she would be back very soon. But now, 3 months had passed, and she had yet to return. Chen Xiang took the jade talisman and sent his divine sense inside, immediately hearing Xie Qiaoyan's voice. "Chen Xiang, do not leave the city controlled by the three great native banks. There are many forces outside trying to capture you, and they are all very strong, including the undead divine race." With how famous he was now, the undead divine race S and evil spirit race S of the same generation as him would definitely hear about his achievements here. It was normal for them to know about him now. "Do you have any news about Xie Qiaoyan? She said that she would be back, so why is it you can help her send a message to me now?" Chen Xiang asked. "She came here a month ago, but she can't enter your villa. She said that she still has something to do in the Infinite Divine Mountain, so she asked me to pass this on to you." "What did it say? Is this a very important matter?" Jiang Xian asked. "She warned me to be careful and stay in these cities as much as possible. Once I leave, there will be many powerful organizations that will capture me." Chen Xiang said, "I can guess that. That's for sure. You have 2 heavenly artifacts in your possession, and 20 billion of them at that." Xuan isn't that high and you don't have any powerful experts by your side either. Jiang Xian said, if you leave now, others will find out where you are. You don't even need to think to know what kind of situation you will be in. Chen Xiang sighed helplessly. Looks like I have to become stronger in this city, or else if I go out, I'll be robbed. Actually, it's not like you can't go out. You're so rich, and your alchemy skills are so profound, you can definitely have a few strong bodyguard. That way, you can have some protection as well. Jiang Xian laughed. You can go take a look at the 3 great native banks. They might have someone suitable for you. I've already registered for the gambling match. Do you want to take a look? The preparation is about to begin. No, I know you will win. Chen Xiang laughed. That's true, but you can't bet on it even if you go. The 3 great native banks can't allow someone like you to gamble. If you go, they will lose a lot. Jiang Xian laughed as he patted Chen Xiang's shoulders. Then, he quickly walked towards the fighting arena. Jiang Xian was already very strong in the limitless battlefield. Although he retreated, he was quickly increasing his strength and fighting to gain more combat experience. Chen Xiang wanted to see if he could use the jade money to hire a few strong bodyguard. That way, he would have a guarantee when he goes out. Right now, he was the most famous person in the city. As he walked on the street, there were many people watching him and discussing him. When Chen Xiang came to the Eternal Life Native Bank, the shopkeeper immediately became anxious. Chen Xiang was their big client, but they were worried that Chen Xiang was here to earn money. Chen Xiang directly went upstairs, where there was some slave sale and other stuff. He wandered around, but did not find anything satisfactory. It was just that they were too weak. He felt that there was not much of a guarantee. Being too famous also made Chen Xiang a bit troubled. He had no choice but to use his transformation technique to change his appearance, and at this time, he was much more peaceful inside and out of the native bank. He was currently in the 3 Lives Native Bank, and wanted to see if there were any good servants to sell, but he unintentionally heard someone talking about Xie Xiaoyan. Xie Xiaoyan actually lost, and was defeated by a man inside the Infinite Divine Mountain, and now she is no longer a master above the Danjiao D list of 8 wastelands. Yeah, I thought she was close to Chen Xiang and had learnt a few moves from him, but she still lost in the end. I heard that he is preparing to challenge the champion of the Infinite Divine Mountain's unrivaled master Wu Shuang, who has just returned to the 2nd place. Right now, the momentum of the Infinite Divine Mountain was very strong. The Skysword sect has been suppressed by them. The Skysword sect doesn't have any Jutian Danding, so they are destined to decline. They are simply too arrogant to actually use this kind of thing as a bet. They are truly reaping what they sowed. Haven't you heard? Right now, the place is bustling with noise and excitement. We are too plain and dull in the 3 Money Divine City. All the heroes are gathered in the Eastern Wasteland. Why are you going to the Eastern Wastelands? Did something big happen? How come we don't know about this? I only found out about it after entering from the outside. You will probably know about it in a few days, and I heard that an extremely huge mountain range suddenly descended from the Eastern Wastelands. I heard that the reason the Skysword sect went all out was to search for the heavenly artifact. Hearing this news, Chen Xiang did not dare to be sure that it was true, but he felt that it was possible. Maybe Xie Xiaoyan had also gone there, which was why he did not come looking for him. This happened a few days ago. Of course, if one wanted to obtain heavenly artifact S, there was a lot of risk. The mountain range that suddenly appeared is extremely strange, and even now, we still have not figured out what happened. When Chen Xiang heard this news, he also wanted to take a look, but he was extremely worried about his own safety. He was at the 2nd stage of the Dao Dan realm, and compared to the experts of the sects and families, there were a lot of people watching him. I'll just have a look. Anyway, I haven't come to this big chaotic times and have yet to experience it properly. Chen Xiang made up his mind. After that, He left the Three Lives Native Bank and came to the Eternal Life Native Bank. At this moment, he had already used a transformation technique to change his appearance. If he did not have a unique technique, it would be impossible to see through. The transmission array in the Eternal Life Native Bank could be teleported to various large cities in the wasteland, while Chun Xiang could teleport to the Haotian city in the wasteland. The city was very crowded, and he could only walk along the streets close to people. From the large crowd gathered here, he knew that what he had heard before was true. Of course, this group of people didn't gather here to go to the mysterious mountain range, but to do business here. After all, there were many places to earn money. Chun Xiang had experienced the terror of the wasteland. Amongst the people who were gathered here, there were many Dao Parelmas, but these people looked to be very poor, not very rich. Chun Xiang had bought some information from the mouth of a Dao Parelm middle-aged man. That person specifically told him that someone else had obtained the heavenly artifact, and that it was the people from the infinite divine mountain. C 2459. C 2459. In just 10 short days, in the mysterious mountain range that suddenly descended, 2 heavenly artifacts appeared. This was enough to make many experts go crazy. He suddenly felt that the 3 great native banks intentionally sealed off the news, all to prevent the people in those cities from finding out. On one hand, he was worried that the compet 1. Tian would be more compet 1. Tive, and on the other hand, he was worried that the people from 3 Money Divine City wouldn't be able to come back after they went there. The big powers and upper echelons in the 3 Money Divine City must be aware of this, but they have kept it a secret, so Jiang Xian does not know either. Yang Xiangyin said, "Master, you must be careful when entering that mountain range. Not only is there danger inside, the experts who go in to search for heavenly artifact are also a great threat to you." I will be careful," Chen Xiang said. After Chen Xiang left the city, he saw that the countryside outside the city was filled with tents or small wooden houses. There were a lot of people outside the city, and it had become a simple and crude city. Of course, there were also a lot of people who were here to search for companions. This way they would be safer. When Chen Xiang was in the city, he had already asked around for the location of the mountain range. Chen Xiang traveled for half a day and also saw the mountain range. From afar, he could see jade-green mountains that stretched for tens of thousands of miles. Occasionally, there would be clouds floating in the middle of the mountains. Some of the mountains even had silver waterfalls hanging down. If one listened carefully, they would even hear the sound of the water splash. Hi+ing. It was as beautiful and magnificent as an immortal mountain. It suddenly appeared? This is quite magical. Let's go in and take a look. If anything goes wrong, we can run again. Chen Xiang had also heard that there were a lot of people who could come out after going in, if not no one would be able to find heavenly artifact. Chen Xiang quickly entered the mountain range and walked in the fragrant mountain forest. Listening to the pleasant bird song, he instantly felt refreshed. This is not in any other SPAC. How strange, why would such a beautiful mountain suddenly appear? Chen Xiang pondered the entire way. He had come here to roam around, so he was in no hurry to travel. He walked slowly along the way, feeling the beauty of this strange mountain range. These plants are fairly old. They should have been growing for a long time. Chen Xiang gently touched a flower, then he used the God's eye to look around. Now, he was even more certain that this was a mountain range that should have existed for many years, and it was not an illusory formation. This was because he could see that the flowers, plants, and trees were greedily absorbing the Tao Qi of heaven and earth. The environment here is much better than other places. It seems like those sects and aristocratic families didn't just come here for the treasure, they are also seizing territory. Chen Xiang suddenly thought of this place was so good, even he himself wanted to stay here for the long term. How did they find the heavenly artifact in here? This mountain range is not small. Chu Hongqing asked. I don't know. That person just wants to see how lucky he is. I'm still at the outer layer of the mountain range. I'll go deeper in and see if it's the same place as this place. Chen Xiang used his S.P.A.C. wind and quickly sensed that there were people ahead of him, and he had also entered a deeper place. He was just unsure if this was the place with the deepest depths of the mountain range. There were a lot of people ahead, so Chen Xiang turned into a bird that flew over and stopped on a tree. There were more than 1,000 people resting beside a small river. With so many of them, they must belong to the same faction. When will we be able to reach the position where the patriarch is? They have been gone for several days. A person complained. I don't know. The patriarch and the elders went there with great difficulty. We should still have to walk for a few more days. I don't know what's in there either. I heard that it's pretty dangerous, but there's heavenly artifact. If our Ning family has one of the heavenly artifact, then we don't need to care about Infinite Divine Mountain's face anymore. No, we need at least 2. Infinite Divine Mountain has already gotten 1 heavenly artifact. Chen Xiang has 2, but this guy is too weak. As long as we leave the city of the 3 Great Native Bank, once we are discovered, we will be robbed. Chen Xiang did not expect to hear someone talking about him here, and he did not know whether to laugh or cry. Now that he knew that these people were from the Ning family, they were all relatively weak. They were probably called in to build shelter or something. Based on his deductions, Chen Xiang believed that there would not be any danger from the depths. If not, the Ning family would not let such a group of people in. Just as Chen Xiang flew to another tree and was about to fly forward, an old man suddenly took out a piece of communication jade symbol paper. After he read the contents inside, he immediately shouted, Patriarch has sent news, saying that Chen Xiang has already entered the mountain range. Let's split into groups to search for him. Once we discover him, do not alert me by any means, and let me notify the Patriarch. So fast. It seems like the undead divine race is also inside, only they can calculate that I am inside. Chen Xiang was on his guard now. Although he knew that there were powerful enemies in front of him, he still wanted to go in and see. He wanted to know why there were heavenly artifact here, and even more of them. Chen Xiang guessed that, and only after undead divine race calculated his approximate location, did he inform the other forces that undead divine race did not care about the heavenly artifact in his body. They only hoped to kill Chen Xiang, as they were very clear of Chen Xiang's potential, and would definitely become his rival in the future. I haven't played this game in a long time. Chen Xiang secretly laughed in his heart. In the past, he would often deal with existences that were a lot stronger than him. He continued to move forward, turning into a bird as he flew. In order to be more hidden, he even blended into the flock, imitating the smell of the bird as he flew forward. There were countless birds in the forest, with a variety of species, and there were birds everywhere, so it was best for Chen Xiang to hide as a bird. What made Chen Xiang felt even weirder was that the birds in this place were all bold. Even if there were people flying everywhere, the beasts roaring in front of them, the birds would not be scared. Where are the birds going? Chen Xiang mingled with the flock of birds and felt that there was something different about this group of birds. They seemed to have been summoned by something and were ing towards a certain place. Chen Xiang flew with the flock of birds until the morning of the second day. Suddenly, he heard a crisp and gentle cry, accompanied by a burst of qi, which he felt to be very familiar with. With a puzzled expression, he followed the flock of birds out of the forest. In front of them was a vast land with all kinds of birds circling in the sky. These birds arranged themselves in an orderly manner, soaring high in the sky. In the middle of the plains below was a small mound, and on top of it stood a beautiful giant bird covered in fiery feathers. Phoenix! Chen Xiang exclaimed. This aura is so familiar. Could it be Shui Ying's? Shui Ying is the Phoenix Princess, and also LV Qilian's disciple. His relations, HI+P with Qin Xiang is not bad, and he should be in the Hundreds of Flowers village right now. Therefore, Qin Xiang was not sure if this phoenix was the one he recognized. C-2460. C-2460 Qin Xiang looked at the beautiful fiery red phoenix and had the urge to fly over. This is a heavenly beast. Chu Hongqing exclaimed, I never thought I'd see someone alive. The phoenix is the emperor among birds. It's said that it has an immortal body. This strange mountain actually has this kind of heavenly beast. It's really magical, Yang Xiangyin said. There's a phoenix in the Hundreds of Flowers village. She's even big sister Qilian's disciple. The aura of this phoenix in front of us is very similar to that of Hundreds of Flowers villages. Qin Xiang said. Although Chu Hongqing had stayed in Hundreds of Flowers village for a period of time, she didn't know about this sort of thing. Qin Xiang wanted to go over to take a look, but he was worried that he would alarm the phoenix. Moreover, the phoenix was covered in a holy light. He did not know what it was doing. It's really a heavenly beast here. No wonder it has such a terrifying aura. A person suddenly appeared with a face full of pleasant surprise, followed by a large group of people. It's a phoenix, you must definitely catch it. Also, make this phoenix our Ning family's guard heavenly beast. This is something even more honorable than obtaining the heavenly artifact. An old man laughed loudly and immediately rushed over. The phoenix let out a long cry and flapped its wings, creating a blazing fire. The fire spread out in all directions and instantly enveloped the entire prairie in a sea of fire. The countless birds circling in the air scattered in all directions and disappeared in the blink of an eye. The phoenix also turned into a streak of red light and flew towards the forest, disappearing in the blink of an eye. Quickly chase! The Ning family elder shouted. Previously, the Ning family wanted to capture him, but now they wanted to capture the phoenix. If not for the sudden arrival of these people, he might be able to converse with the phoenix and ask about some things here. This way, he could confirm that the phoenix was not the Shui Ying he knew. Qin Xiang was not worried about that phoenix either. The power that the phoenix used just now was extremely strong, and it ran very fast. He also wanted to catch up, but he needed to find Xie Qiaoyan first. Xie Qiaoyan would be more familiar with the situation here. She was the first person to enter. Qin Xiang continued to fly in the middle of the forest. This mountain range was extremely strange, especially in the depths. There were many weird-looking flowers, plants and trees. He was currently in a blue-colored forest. The trees inside were not very big, but the bark of the trees were all blue and would even flash. Some of the trees grew flowers, and from time to time, a drop of blue liquid would drop. I wonder if there are any medicinal herbs here that can concoct pills. Qin Xiang was very careful now. He used his own experience to search around here. Not long after, he found a small hollow tree under the root of a big tree. Traces of light blue mist were coming out from the hollow of the tree. There are strange and wondrous flowers and plants in the tree hole. This is also to protect myself. At the same time, I absorb Tao Qi from the heaven and earth through the big tree. Using the Tao Heart Eye, Qin Xiang could see that tiny blue flower. He immediately flew over, and just as he was about to enter the tree cave, the big tree suddenly shook violently, releasing a very strange power, making Qin Xiang feel as if he was suddenly blown away by a strong gust of wind. He immediately turned back into his human form and ran towards the tree once more, but this time he was blown away by the strange power released by the tree. How strange! I wonder how it was formed. The roots of this huge tree actually formed a natural formation beneath the ground, protecting the entire tree from being invaded. The flowers that are hidden inside the hole in the tree also get very good protection. Qin Xiang looked around. There were no traces of people coming here. He was the first person to discover this blue flower. After his previous 2 attempts, He had already discovered that this tree was protected by a naturally formed array formation. Against this sort of array formation, he had an extremely good method of dealing with it. He immediately tried it, and as expected, it was very easy to pass through the formless array and reach the root. He reached into the small tree hole, and just as he was about to pick it, he felt a trace of movement from the ground. He immediately wanted to teleport away, but he was still a little too slow. Chen Xiang shouted in shock, and then he was hung upside down. It turned out that his feet were tied up by the vines that hung him upside down beside the big tree. Moreover, there were also many vines that extended onto his body, instantly binding him like a dumpling, exposing only his head. "This tree has become a spirit," Chen Xiang exclaimed in his heart. He then wanted to struggle free from the tree, but realized that the Daoyuan immortal power was not able to flow into his body. "Do you want me to go out and help you?" Chu Hongqing asked. "Don't come out, this tree is very dangerous." Chen Xiang had never encountered such a thing. After his feet were bound by the tree vines actually released a strange power that seeped into his body and absorbed the hidden Daoyuan immortal power in his flesh. After a few tries, Chen Xiang realized that as long as he was able to release a bit of Daoyuan immortal power, it would all be sucked dry immediately. As long as it was the energy that escaped from Divine Sense C, it would all be sucked into the big tree. "Then what should we do?" "Use your sword," Chu Hongqing immediately said. "I have to be released at the same time. I am bound like this. I am unable to use it. If I want to control the sword, I have to release a very strong Daoyuan immortal power to control it, but the speed at which the Daoyuan immortal power is absorbed by the tree is extremely fast." Chen Xiang laughed bitterly. He was currently thinking of a way. For the moment, he was much safer. His physical body's strength was not strong enough, and all the energy inside the Divine Sense C would be instantly absorbed. Originally, he wanted to borrow the natural law principles as power, but like before, he was also sucked dry, which gave Chen Xiang a huge headache. If he called Chu Hongqing out, then he was worried that they would also be tied up by the vines, which would be even more troublesome. "Someone's coming." Chen Xiang frowned. He heard a lot of footsteps. "It's Huang Xiaotian." He recognized this Qi. Chen Xiang was currently unable to use the power of the Divine Sense C, so he was unable to use his transformation technique. "It's Chen Xiang." After Huang Xiaotian arrived, he shouted in joy. He was not stupid and immediately said to the people around him, "Everyone be careful, there's a problem with this tree. They are all from the Fire Reverence School." Chu Hongqing said anxiously, "Do you really not want us to go out? You are in danger now." "Not for now, they won't be able to make it," Chen Xiang said. Huang Xiaotian laughed from afar. "That's great, we can find any place with our broken steel shoes now, and Chen Xiang will fall into our hands." To be able to obtain 2 heavenly artifacts just by obtaining Chen Xiang, many people thought so. See 2461. See 2461. Huang Xiaotian already knew about his father's situation. His father, Huang Tian, needed a cultivation cauldron, and Chu Hongqing and Yang Xiangyin were the best candidates. "Now it's good, Chen Xiang was hung there." This made Huang Xiaotian very excited. "The elders of the Fire Reverence School are also here. One of them is from the Daopa realm," Chu Hongqing said again. Both Shi and Yang Xiangyin were extremely anxious. Huang Xiaotian threw a stone over, and after triggering the array around the big tree, the stone was immediately blown away. "Looks like it wasn't easy for us to go over. This Chen Xiang has some skills to actually be able to pass through such a formation." Huang Xiaotian carefully observed his surroundings. He also noticed a naturally formed array beside the big tree. Chen Xiang did not say anything. He wanted to see how Huang Xiaotian would capture him, and he really hoped that Huang Xiaotian and the others would be able to pass through the array. Break the roots, the elder from the Daopa realm said, and then he started to attack the ground, followed by 10 or so fire-reverent school people doing the same. In just a short while, many of their roots had been snapped. Huang Xiaotian tried again, and found that the stone could hit Chen Xiang. Everyone, be careful when you go over there. Furthermore, do not kill him. We still have to force him to hand over the 2 heavenly artifacts and lure Chu Hongqing and Yang Xiangyin out. Huang Xiaotian laughed sinisterly. Everyone pay attention to the ground below you, the tree vines should have come out from the ground. Huang Xiaotian observed very carefully and discovered that there were traces of tree vines breaking out from the soil beneath Chen Xiang's hanging. Of course, he also discovered the little blue flower inside the small tree hole. Ming, your reaction is the most sensitive. You go take a look, if possible, cut the vines and bring Chen Xiang here. He has 20 billion jade money on him. If you can make him hand it all over, I can give you 100 million. Huang Xiaotian said to a young man behind him. Ming hesitated. He also knew that this was a very dangerous situation, but he still walked over. To him, 100 million jade money was a huge amount. Ming very carefully went underneath Chen Xiang. His entire body tensed up. It would be best if he could prepare to escape at any time. Huang Xiaotian and the rest looked at Ming. After a while, he was not tied up by the tree vines. Ming, break the tree vines and throw Chen Xiang over. Huang Xiaotian was extremely careful. Although Ming was fine, he and the others did not go over. Ming nodded his head and took out a long sword. Then, he floated in the air and chopped at the thick vine. Even after several chops, he was still unable to cut it. Huang Xiaotian and the rest also made their moves, controlling their weapons to fly over and hack at the tree vines that was hanging on Chen Xiang's body. It's working. We can cut it in half after a while. Huang Xiaotian saw that the thick tree trunk was slowly being split open, and shouted in joy. After a while, the tree vines indeed broke, and Chen Xiang, who was wrapped up by the tree vines, also fell to the ground. Ming immediately released a golden net and wrapped Chen Xiang up. Just when Huang Xiaotian and the rest were extremely excited, they suddenly felt something wrapped around their feet. In a flash, they were inexplicably hung on the big tree. They were also wrapped by the tree vines. Although Chen Xiang's entire body was bound tightly by the tree vines connecting him to the big tree had already been cut off, so with a jolt of his body, the tree vines were immediately burst open, and with the power of the white tiger Dao mark, he executed a spatial jump, escaping from this strange big tree. Thank you for saving me. Chen Xiang floated in mid-air and laughed loudly. Huang Xiaotian and the others were so angry that they spat out blood. They had worked hard to help Chen Xiang cut off the tree vines, but when they thought that they were going to catch Chen Xiang, they were all wrapped up by the tree vines. Chen Xiang now knew that this tree had intelligence. The big tree took advantage of the moment when Huang Xiaotian and the others were SLAs. Plussing down on the tree vines to secretly release the tree vines underground. This big tree's wisdom and methods made Chen Xiang secretly admire it, and he almost fell for it too. Chen Xiang, quickly save us. We can disregard the past grudges and respect you as the distinguished guest of our fire-reverent school. At this moment, they had discovered that the strangest thing about this large tree was its extremely fast speed in absorbing the Daoyuan immortal power. Ming suddenly cried out miserably. The tree vines that bound him suddenly tightened, plussing all the bones in Ming's body. Even the blood that leaked out was absorbed by the tree vines. Immediately after, the rest of the fire-reverent school started screaming out miserably. Even the elder was constantly shouting, because the tree vines binding them were shrinking. They were extremely powerful, and their strengths were not weak. They were all from the Dao Dan realm, and the elder was even from the Dao Pa realm. However, like cotton, they were easily crushed into a small ball by the tree vines. Chen Xiang's scalp went numb, and he still had some lingering fear. In the blink of an eye, more than 10 people were strangled to the point where not even their bones were left, their flesh and blood completely sucked. Not a single drop of blood fell to the ground, and they were all sucked dry by the tree vines. Huang Xiaotian had not been strangled to death, and now he was the only one left. This caused Chen Xiang to be even more shocked. The big tree was planning to use Huang Xiaotian as its bait. Just now, he was being used by the big tree as bait, which was why he had attracted Huang Xiaotian and the others over 10 people. This killing tree is too terrifying. Chen Xiang could not help but Hi+ver. He did not know what would happen if he was restrained. Chen Xiang, quickly save me! Huang Xiaotian roared and continued to shake his body. He was like a pitiful worm trapped in a spider web. Why should I save you? You guys wanted to capture me just now, SN. ATC. My heavenly artifact, and even wanted to capture my female slave. He took out the 6 realms mirrors, sat on it and flew next to Huang Xiaotian. Huang Xiaotian was also one of the higher-ranked trees, but he could not do anything about it. He saw that when Chen Xiang rode on the 6 realms mirrors, the vines wanted to attack Chen Xiang, but they were all blocked by the 6 realms mirrors. As long as you save me, I'll promise you anything. I don't want to die. Huang Xiaotian cried. He knew Chen Xiang had the ability to save him. I don't believe a guy like you. Chen Xiang showed no mercy towards this kind of person who wanted to kill him. He took out his heavenly magic sword and swung it towards the head that Huang Xiaotian revealed. Huang Xiaotian didn't even have time to scream before his head fell to the ground. At this moment, the big tree was trembling, as if in fear, because the flames Chen Xiang had released just now were extremely strong, able to threaten the tree. Chen Xiang came to the side of the tree, touched the tree trunk and smiled. Little one, don't be scared. I know you're very strong, but you're afraid of my fire, right? The tree trunk trembled again. It actually understood human speech. C-2462. C-2462, then I'll let you go. Next time you see me, you can't do this again. Chen Xiang caressed the tree trunk, then closed his eyes and focused on communicating with the mysterious tree. I don't dare to. Lord, don't burn me with fire. His voice was actually very young, as if he was only a few years old. What flowers are in that tree hole? Chen Xiang asked. What's the use of it? I want it. Blue phoenix flowers. If humans and savage beasts eat the petals, the injured areas on their bodies will immediately recover. This kind of flower contains the miraculous phoenix blood. The big tree said, then used the vines to pick the flower and gave it to Chen Xiang. If you give me this flower, won't you have no bait in the future? Chen Xiang laughed. Don't worry, my lord, it will grow back out of the small tree very soon. Right now, he was extremely afraid of the Creator's flame that Chen Xiang had just released. He was afraid that he would be burnt, and that was the only flame that could threaten him. Chen Xiang was worrying about not understanding this place, and was secretly happy to be able to communicate with this small tree fairy. I know there's a phoenix here. What kind of existence is she here? Chen Xiang asked. He felt that the small tree fairy must know something about this place. She is the new emperor of all birds, who has just come here. There have been phoenixes in the past as well, but for some reason they have disappeared. The small tree fairy said. So that's how it is. Chen Xiang frowned. The phoenix that had just arrived was now the Shueying of the Hundreds of Flowers villages. What exactly is this place? Why did they suddenly appear here, and why are there so many heavenly artifacts here? Chen Xiang asked again. The small tree fairy replied with her young and tender voice. Our name is Spirit Wasteland, and it is one of the ancient desolate lands. Spirit Wasteland has always been floating in different times, it's just that there's only an era left now, and we'll be back soon. Spirit Wasteland is also the youngest. Chen Xiang was stunned. The era of the 8 desolations was actually the new 8 desolations, and there was actually an ancient 8 desolations. He felt that he had completely changed his past. What this world had developed into was completely different from what he knew. He did not know if it was a good thing or a bad thing. Are there any humans in the spirit wasteland? I mean, there were humans, and they're not the ones who just came in. Chen Xiang asked again. Of course there is. Although our spirit wasteland is the youngest in the ancient 8 desolations, we have everything. Sir, you have to be careful walking around here. Then, a small hole appeared on his tree trunk as a tiny green bead floated out of the small hole. Lord, keep this thing. As long as you carry it with you, you won't be attacked by plants and flowers. After Chen Xiang received the small green bead, the green bead quickly fused into his body. Looks like there are many man-eating trees like you hidden in here. Chen Xiang laughed. What I'm eating are all bad people. I didn't plan to eat yours from the beginning. I only used you as bait. The small tree fairy was unconvinced. How do you know I'm not a bad person? How do you know those guys are bad people? Chen Xiang chuckled. I'm actually going to pick that blue phoenix flower. Then my intuition. Anyway, you're not too bad, or you'd have burned me to death a long time ago. The small tree fairy said. Right, what else do we need to pay attention to here? Chen Xiang decided to probe the wonders of the spirit wasteland. Are there any stronger people here? There is. Especially the beasts, they are a very terrifying threat to you humans. And then there was the evil spirits, which were also very deadly. Of course, the beasts are not around, they are deeper in the spirit wasteland. If you want to enter there, you only need to pay attention to evil spirits and some poisonous things along the way. The small tree fairy said. Chen Xiang nodded, then goodbye. We'll have a good chat when we have the chance. Sir, your flame can't be used carelessly in this place. We are most afraid of this flame. The small tree fairy said. Right now I also plan to go deeper in and catch some beasts to eat. Why don't we work together? I can protect the adults. Chen Xiang didn't react for a moment and asked, How are you going to go into such a big tree? Do you want me to move you in? Of course not, I will leave. As the small tree fairy spoke, it actually began to move. After walking a few steps, its speed was actually pretty fast. Hurry and enter my tree hole, you'll be safe inside. The small tree fairy said. You're not planning on eating me, are you? Chen Xiang had seen the methods of small tree fairies. How would I dare? I have already given you that green bead. With that thing, none of us can devour you. If you are worried, you can just sit on top of that thing and not come down. The small tree fairy said. Chen Xiang sat on top of the 6 realms mirrors and flew into the tree hole. Small tree fairy, are you just going to walk in? You are very big and very conspicuous. Chen Xiang said. Such a big tree moving about in the forest would definitely be very scary. Of course not, I will turn into a little ginseng and advance from the ground. The small tree fairy said. Don't think that only you can change, I can too. Isn't it too slow for you like this? I can enter much faster by myself. Chen Xiang felt that if he rode a 6 realms mirrors, perhaps the use of SPAC wind would be even faster. You'll find out when you get deeper in. The environment inside is very complicated. If you were a little stronger, perhaps it would be fine, but your current cultivation is too low. Although you have a lot of tricks up your sleeve, entering this place is very dangerous. The small tree fairy said. Wait, you've turned into a little ginseng, and I'm still inside your body. Chen Xiang suddenly thought of this. You are in my divine sense world. The small tree fairy laughed. Relax, I often go into the depths of spirit wasteland to play, I can definitely bring you in safely. He never thought that he would fall in love with a human, and right now, he was shuttling across the ground with Chen Xiang. Small tree fairy, can you do me a favor? I want to find a person. Chen Xiang asked. Can you help me ask your demon friends if they have seen this person before? When Chen Xiang was at Demon Forest, he had a good relations. Hi+P with the Treant race. He felt that the small tree fairy could be considered their kind, but it was much stronger than the Treant race. Okay, release that person's image, the small tree fairy said. Chen Xiang released Xie Xiaoyan's image. Seeing it, the small tree fairy laughed. Is this your woman? No, she's my friend. Don't ask any more, help me find her. She has been here for quite some time, I'm a bit worried about her. Chen Xiang said. C-2463. C-2463. Before Chen Xiang encountered the small tree fairy, he felt that this part of Spirit Wasteland was relatively safe. However, after seeing how the small tree fairy ate people, and finding out about the hidden powerful existences of this part of the Spirit Wasteland from the small tree fairy's mouth, he was extremely worried for Xie Xiaoyan. The small tree fairy had already started to help Chen Xiang search for traces of Xie Xiaoyan. He was connected to the flowers and trees here. If they were looking for Xie Xiaoyan, it wouldn't be difficult, as long as Xie Xiaoyan was still here. This may take some time, just wait patiently, the small tree fairy said. I never thought that there would be more and more humans entering the Spirit Wasteland. I just wonder how many of us can survive. Chen Xiang had previously heard that there were no dangers here, but the small tree fairy did not say so. Small tree fairy, there were 2 heavenly artifacts here, and it seemed like humans could easily get their hands on them. Furthermore, before I came in, I understood that there would not be any danger, so many people came in. Chen Xiang said. Heavenly artifact? Some of them are pretty easy to obtain if you're lucky. The small tree fairy said. The place where there is no danger in Spirit Wasteland is outside. The area where you meet me is relatively safe. Of course, this is only temporary. Why is it temporary? Chen Xiang did not understand. This is because the Spirit Wasteland has just descended onto this land, and many beasts and various items have been gathered in the center area. After a period of time, they will try to go outside to take a look, and at that time, the entire Spirit Wasteland will no longer be safe. The small tree fairy said, with your cultivation, if you don't have any tricks, you will most likely die. Chen Xiang was also almost eaten by the small tree fairy. When he thought about it, he felt a little afraid, because the small tree fairy did not seem to be the most terrifying thing here, but was able to kill Huang Xiaotian and the rest. Master, as long as you are with me, you will be safe. The beasts and humans in the Spirit Wasteland would not dare to offend us plants and flowers. They are relying on us to live. The reason why Spirit Wasteland is called Spirit Wasteland is because after all living things here opened up their spirit, they all became unusually strong. This is the special characteristic of Spirit Wasteland. The small tree fairy laughed. Of course, we are also afraid of people like you. Especially those flames you released, they would have great destructive power towards us spiritual flowers, plants, and trees. Chen Xiang said, Don't worry, I will not use it carelessly. This Spirit Wasteland is not bad. I do not want to destroy this place. You said that there are humans here, then are the humans here strong? Chen Xiang asked. Of course I'm strong. Humans and beasts are natural enemies here, and they often fight. But now that so many humans have come from the outside, it poses a greater threat to the beasts here. Therefore, if any humans were to be targeted by the powerful beasts, they would definitely be attacked. The small tree fairy said. The beasts here aren't weak, right? Chen Xiang said. He had actually seen something like the phoenix here. Of course not. The biggest characteristic of the beasts in Spirit Wasteland is that none of them are stupid, and most of them can transform. Do you know how dangerous it is for humans now? The small tree fairy said. Beasts that could take human form, and had a high level of intelligence, would be easily ambushed by these beasts if humans were unable to differentiate between them. Of course, not all beasts frequently attack humans. Many beasts are relatively gentle, such as those that don't eat meat, some birds, or fish in the water. The small tree fairy suddenly said, We found your friend, her situation doesn't seem to be good, she has been tied up. What? Chen Xiang shouted in shock, how can that be? She was pretty strong. Even if she was beaten black and blue, she wouldn't be tied up so easily. Is she hurt? No. The group is in a small valley, and only she is tied up. For some reason, I'll bring you there right now, it's not too far away. The small tree fairy said. Chen Xiang was clearly caught by his own people, and should be captured by the people from the infinite divine mountain. But why? Xie Qiaoyan held a relatively high status within the infinite divine mountain's boundless pill Dao, and had even gifted a beauty pellet to the Jiang family patriarch a while ago. Chen Xiang asked the small tree fairy to pass on what he could see. The small tree fairy also managed to vaguely see something through his connection with the other flowers, plants and trees. Chen Xiang had also only seen Xie Qiaoyan's face in a daze, but he could still confirm that it was Xie Qiaoyan. After that, it was a few people that he was more familiar with, and among them, Ning Quan was suddenly Huang Tian. Other than them, there were also Infinite Master S of the Limitless Pill Dao, as well as leader Qiao Wushuang of the Sky-Piercing sect and Qiao Kun. After half an hour, the small tree fairy arrived at the small valley. They are all very powerful humans, how do you plan to save that woman? She was also quite strong, but she could only submit to this group of humans. Had she offended this group of humans? Why were you captured? The small tree fairy asked. At this time, Chen Xiang could clearly see the things inside the valley. There were more than 200 of them, and their overall power was extremely strong. Forget about Xie Qiaoyan being tied up by a special rope, there were also 3 overlapping array discs at her feet. Xie Qiaoyan, you still have an hour. The one who spoke was the Infinite Master. He was the great elder of the Limitless Pill Dao and had an extremely high position in the Infinite Divine Mountain. Even if I die, I will not compromise with you. Bastards. Xie Qiaoyan said angrily. The 3 longevity fruits in your hands are useless to you, you can still be considered to be very young, and we old fellows don't have very long to live. As long as you hand them over, we guarantee that we won't make things difficult for you in the future. The Infinite Master said. Humph. Xie Qiaoyan merely snorted coldly, then closed his eyes and no longer looked at this group of people. Huang Tian suddenly said, 3 seniors of Infinite Divine Mountain, you should leave Xie Qiaoyan to me as soon as possible. This way, you can obtain the 3 longevity heavenly fruits in my hands a little more easily. If Xie Qiaoyan dies, you won't be able to get anything else. Chen Xiang immediately understood what was going on. Xie Qiaoyan and Huang Tian had gotten their hands on 3 longevity heavenly fruits respectively, and this matter had been known to the leader S, the Limitless Battle Dao and the 2 elders of the Limitless Pill Dao. They were already a little old, so they naturally needed the longevity heavenly fruit to increase their lifespans. Of course Xie Qiaoyan would not give it to them. The moment Xie Qiaoyan knew that the Limitless Pill Dao was hiding something from him and gave her the broken Infinite Dan method, she secretly hated the Infinite Divine Mountain. Therefore, she was naturally unwilling to hand over the heavenly longevity fruit. When Infinite Divine Mountain's leader and the 2 elders saw her attitude, they were extremely furious and used unyielding methods. This further stimulated the already extremely arrogant Xie Qiaoyan. Xie Qiaoyan was cold and arrogant, the more he forced her, the more she wouldn't compromise. C. 2464. C. 2464 Huang Tian also had 3 longevity heavenly fruits, and right now Huang Tian needed a girl with a high cultivation as the cultivation furnace. So when he saw that Xie Qiaoyan was captured and sealed, he suggested a condition, and used the 3 longevity heavenly fruits in exchange for Xie Qiaoyan. But they still gave Xie Qiaoyan the last chance. If Xie Qiaoyan was willing to hand over the longevity heavenly fruit in his hands, they wouldn't need to use her to exchange with Huang Tian. Stop dreaming, even if I die, I will not lower my head to you. Bastards. Xie Xiaoyan's voice was ice-cold and his eyes were filled with stubbornness, but there was also despair. Xie Xiaoyan was extremely suitable for his cultivation. If he were to dual cultivate with Xie Xiaoyan, his cultivation would definitely increase even faster. Right now, he had a very high chance of obtaining Xie Xiaoyan, because those three big shots of the infinite divine mountain all wanted the longevity heaven fruit very badly. For the sake of the longevity heaven fruit, they actually used a strong method to force Xie Xiaoyan to hand it over. Huang Tian, you don't have to worry. We won't let her die. We also know that after she dies, we won't get anything. Infinite Master said, we have already sealed all of her power, it won't be that easy for her to die. Pil Dao Elder, you should exchange with Huang Tian now in case something else happened. The one who spoke was an old man with a lot of wrinkles on his face. Elder Zhan Dao, what do you think? Infinite Master asked. We'll do as leader says. It's not like we don't know Xie Xiaoyan's personality. The fighting elder sneered. This was also an old man whose face was covered in layers of wrinkles. Chen Xiang was also very angry in his heart. They actually sold Xie Xiaoyan to Huang Tian just like that. For their own selfish ends, they were actually able to do such a shameless thing. Huang Tian took out a jade box, laughed and said, the three seniors are straightforward indeed. I will give you 2 longevity fruits first, and when Xie Xiaoyan gets to me, I will give you the remaining one. Just as Huang Tian finished his sentence, a hand appeared in the air. This was Chen Xiang's hand. He used his spatial energy and had his hand reach out to grab the jade box. Who is it? Quick, catch him. Huang Tian immediately shouted in alarm as a powerful aura surged out from his body. Ning Quan was also looking around vigilantly, but he did not see anything. Limitless Leader's voice was cold as he said, who is the expert? Don't sneak around, hurry up and come out. The consequences of harming our infinite divine mountain are extremely serious. You scoundrels are just a joke in my eyes, haha. Chen Xiang's voice suddenly came out, shocking both Ning Quan and Huang Tian. Quick, look at Xie Xiaoyan. Huang Tian reacted and quickly shouted. Xie Xiaoyan was located in the middle of the infinite divine mountain's 3 great leaders, but when Huang Tian shouted, Xie Xiaoyan and the 3 array discs disappeared. It's the SPAC laws. Chen Xiang, if you know what's good for you, hand over Xie Xiaoyan and the heavenly longevity fruit immediately, or else you'll definitely suffer a terrible end. This daddy has heard too much of these bulls. HI+T. It's you old BASTARDS who are about to enter their coffins that even left behind a curse before you die. You all better not enter the divine city created by the 3 great native banks. I guarantee that after you all enter, there will be a lot of words that will scold you all until your heads will be drenched in dog blood. Chen Xiang's appearance was unexpected, and the 3 big shots of the infinite divine mountain did not understand. They had clearly sealed the SPAC, but Chen Xiang was still able to bring Xie Xiaoyan away through the seal. This group of people in the valley weren't weak either, but Chen Xiang's cultivation was extremely low. He was actually saved by Chen Xiang in front of so many people, and Huang Tian nearly vomited blood. What made him so angry that he almost fainted was that he was about to get the beauty Xie Xiaoyan right away, but Chen Xiang appeared again, ruined his plans. Brother Huang, are you alright? Ning Quan immediately went to support Huang Tian. I'm fine. Huang Tian took a deep breath and covered his chest with one hand. Huang Tian, your son Huang Xiaotian has already been killed by me. Chen Xiang's voice came from the sky, indicating that he was still in the vicinity. Huang Tian had already caught his breath, but after hearing this news, he couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. Chen Xiang, I must kill you, I must. Huang Tian's voice was filled with hatred and anger. Split up and search, he must not find it. He still has 2 heavenly artifacts on him. Infinite Master shouted, and then everyone split up and moved. Chen Xiang was currently hiding inside the small tree fairy's divine sense sea world. He had already pulled Xie Xiaoyan out from within the seal, and the seal formed by the 3 array discs was still very strong. Thank you. Xie Xiaoyan heaved a long sigh of relief, but her face was currently pale white. When she was sealed, divine sense C's power was also suppressed, but she had already gradually recovered, and her face had regained its vitality. It's good that you're fine. Chen Xiang chuckled. You should be more considerate in the future. What is this place? Xie Xiaoyan nodded her head, seeing the smile on Chen Xiang's face. She felt more at ease. Previously, she thought she was done for. Inside a tree. We're safe now. Chen Xiang had already ordered the small tree fairy to leave the valley. Chen Xiang took out the jade box that he had bought from Huang Tian. Inside the box were 3 fist-sized fruits that looked like emerald. This is the eternal heaven fruit. Chen Xiang praised. As expected, it's a good thing. Don't you have 3 as well? Xie Xiaoyan nodded her head as she took out a small tree and said, I had discovered the fruit tree long ago. When I was fighting with a savage beast, Huang Tian came over immediately. Hee, it's all ours now. Chen Xiang laughed. Those bastards must be very sad right now. Xie Xiaoyan smiled slightly. She was truly very happy, and this was the first time Chen Xiang had seen her smile. Take the fruit and give me the little tree, okay? The small tree fairy suddenly said. Who is it? Xie Xiaoyan suddenly became alert. Xiaoyan, he is the small tree fairy. We are currently in his divine sense sea world. We are extremely safe here. Just give him that tree. Chen Xiang said. Xie Xiaoyan was saved by Chen Xiang, and after knowing that the small tree fairy also saved her, she gave the tree to the small tree fairy without hesitation. C-2465. C-2465 Xie Xiaoyan handed over the 3 longevity heavenly fruits in his hands to Chen Xiang. For you. At this time, she was extremely grateful to Chen Xiang. If not for Chen Xiang, she would not have known what would happen right now. No need, I have 3 myself. Chen Xiang laughed. You really don't want it? Xie Xiaoyan asked in a low voice. This is very precious. Besides, I don't need it now. But even without these longevity fruits, I think those old fellows would still use me to threaten you. Threatening me? Chen Xiang laughed. You have 2 heavenly artifacts with you, and they are skilled in superior pill techniques. It's all very useful to them, and they know I'm very close to you. When I went back to the infinite divine mountain, they asked me how my relations, Hi+P with you was progressing. Xie Xiaoyan's eyes moved, and she asked softly, If they were to use me to threaten you, would you compromise? Chen Xiang laughed. If I cannot save you, of course I will compromise. I don't want to lose you. Xie Xiaoyan lowered her head slightly. She had kissed Chen Xiang previously, and she knew then that Chen Xiang wanted to take over her. At that time, she was also forced to take over half a step and was forced to be kissed by Chen Xiang. This group of fellows are really greedy. They seem to already have heavenly artifacts, but they still want more. Chen Xiang laughed. Xie Xiaoyan only sighed lightly. She also didn't think that the infinite divine mountain would actually treat her like this. This was even more cruel than abandoning her. Xiaoyan, come with us. Chen Xiang suddenly pulled Xie Xiaoyan closer to him, allowing her to lean into his embrace. Xie Xiaoyan also just struggled a little. Chen Xiang embraced her proud and aloof, but extremely soft body. He was secretly pleased in his heart, feeling that he had almost conquered this woman. He placed his hands on Xie Xiaoyan's jade face and gently caressed it. Then, he used his hands to hold her jade face and made her raise her head. Xie Xiaoyan's gaze was filled with complexity as she avoided Chen Xiang's gaze. She didn't know why, but her heart inexplicably jumped very quickly as her cheeks flushed red. She was also secretly looking forward to something from the bottom of her heart. This time, Chen Xiang didn't even need to forcefully kiss Xie Xiaoyan. Instead, he just passively and easily kissed her. After a while, Xie Xiaoyan leaned bashfully on Chen Xiang's chest. When I found out that you entered this mountain range, I was extremely worried. I even planned to look for you and take you with me. I never thought that you would be the one to save me from behind the scenes. Xie Xiaoyan sat on Chen Xiang's thigh, leaning into Chen Xiang's embrace. Chen Xiang caressed her face and laughed. How could I be captured that easily? Right, how did you know that I entered this mountain range? Leader suddenly said that someone sent a message to him. At that time, he secretly sent a message to the other disciples of Infinite Divine Mountain, telling them to go look for you. Xie Xiaoyan said. Chen Xiang kissed her forehead and asked, How are you recovering now? It's about time. Xie Xiaoyan left Chen Xiang's embrace and arranged his clothes. Chen Xiang kept the small tree fairy staring at Huang Tian. He asked, Small tree fairy, how is Huang Tian now? He's together with another guy. That guy seems to be called Ningquan. The small tree fairy said. Get close to them. Right, where are those three old fellows? Where did they all go? Chen Xiang asked again. They said they were going to find someone who can figure out where you are. The small tree fairy made Chen Xiang frown. That person was definitely from the undead divine race. Who is it? To think that I would be able to find out where you are. Xie Xiaoyan was already impressed by Chen Xiang's concealed strength. He had approached them secretly, but the three big shots of Infinite Divine Mountain did not know about it. Undead divine races, Chen Xiang said. These people are truly lingering around like ghosts. If I had the strength, I would have shoveled them out first. Xie Xiaoyan had told Jiang Xian to be careful of undead divine race before, because she was looking for him everywhere. Undead divine race and I have a grudge, but it won't be so easy for them to catch me either. Looks like I'll be safer in the cities of the three great native banks in the future. Chen Xiang sighed. Without great strength, it's best not to run around. The leaders behind the three native banks were all very powerful as they controlled the order of the entire wasteland. If there were people causing trouble in the city they built, they would act and even the undead divine race would fear them. Huang Tian must be related to the undead divine race, Chen Xiang said. The Huang Profound that Chen Xiang had killed earlier belonged to the undead divine race, while Huang Profound had to help Huang Tian. They were all surnamed Huang, so there had to be a branch of the Huang family in the undead divine race, and this was exactly the case for Huang Jintian. The small tree fairy was now close to Huang Tian and the others. With my strength, I can deal with these two. I don't need any of you to do anything. The small tree fairy laughed. Alright, try it first. If it doesn't work, then we'll make our move, Chen Xiang said. Although Xie Xiaoyan was not a match for the Infinite Divine Mountain's three great leaders, dealing with Huang Tian was not a problem. Her strength was still much stronger than Huang Tian. When the small tree fairy was still a distance away from Huang Tian and the others, it came to the ground and turned into a big tree. This flower was the blue phoenix flower from before. It was able to release a trace of an extremely peculiar fragrance, and was currently luring Huang Tian and Ningquan. Will that work? Chen Xiang asked. Definitely. According to my observation, those two fellows are very greedy. They will definitely take the bait. Just watch. The small tree fairy was very confident. Sure enough, before long, Chen Xiang and Xie Xiaoyan, who were inside the big tree, could pass through a curtain of light. They saw two people quickly walking over. It was Huang Tian and Ningquan. This mountain range is truly surprising. Ningquan excitedly went over, just in front of Huang Tian. Seeing these strange flowers and herbs, he did not want to miss it. There was only one flower in front of him, and he was afraid that Ningquan would take it all for himself. In just a few blinks of an eye, they had all arrived underneath the big tree. Ningquan reached his hands into the hole in the tree, Just as he was about to grab the indigo phoenix flower, the hole in the tree suddenly shrank back and clamped onto Ningquan's hand. Brother Huang, please do me a favor and chop down this tree. This strange tree should be intelligent to actually know how to protect this flower. Ningquan anxiously said. Huang Tian walked over and grabbed Ningquan's arm with all his might. He wanted to pull Ningquan's hand out, but Ningquan had to shout loudly. Stop, bulls. Ting, it hurts. Just cut down the big tree, hurry up. Ningquan shouted. He could feel that the hole in the tree was tightening. Huang Tian had no other choice but to take out a knife and hack at the big tree. The moment he swung his sword, his feet were entangled by tree roots. Then, many tree vines appeared from the big tree, instantly entangling Huang Tian tightly. C. 2466. C. 2466. After Huang Tian was entangled, he saw Chen Xiang and Xie Qiaoyan suddenly appear. Ningquan, whose hands were still stuck in the tree hole, also shouted out in shock. At this time, he was also tied up by the tree vines released by the small tree fairy. All of you did this? Ningquan shouted anxiously. Senior Master, quickly save me. I know Huang Tian has always wanted to have you, but I have always been against him. Hearing that, Xie Qiaoyan's face turned cold. Don't think that I don't know that you were the one who suggested this to Huang Tian, saying that you wanted to use the longevity heavenly fruit to exchange. Don't call me Junior Master. I am no longer from Infinite Divine Mountain. While talking, Xie Qiaoyan had already taken out a long sword. Seeing the cold gleam on the sword, Ningquan's entire body varied. The cold expression on Xie Qiaoyan's face showed that she would not show mercy. Uncle Master. Martial Uncle. Huang Tianjin and I are not on the same side. If you want to kill him, I have never harmed your interests. Ningquan wailed. Don't think that I don't know about your scheme with Huang Tian. I won't believe your lies. Xie Qiaoyan was not a gentle and kind girl to begin with. She had already wielded her long sword and cut down Ningquan's neck, and decapitated him. As Huang Tian saw this, his already terrified heart turned cold. He knew that he was dead for sure. Xie Qiaoyan had been so decisive in killing Ningquan that she had never hesitated for sure. Qin Xiang came to the bottom of the sky and smiled. Didn't you say you wanted to kill me or something? Now it seems like you are going to be killed. Ha ha. Seeing Qin Xiang's current taunt, Huang Tian was once again angry in his heart. He wanted to slap Qin Xiang to death, but he had already been bound tightly, to the point that he couldn't even move a finger. Qiaoyan, do you want to come or should I? Qin Xiang asked. It's better if you do it. You and him have had a conflict. I don't want to kill this kind of guy. You. Xie Qiaoyan puss, said the long sword in his hand to Qin Xiang. Qin Xiang took the long sword and said to Huang Tian with a smile, both father and son have died in my hands. If there is a next life, you can also become father and son like this. Qin Xiang, you little beast. Before Huang Tian could finish cursing, his head was chopped off by Qin Xiang. Huang Tian and Ningquan's cultivation were relatively high, and to the small tree fairy, this was a huge feast. Following that, Xie Qiaoyan saw how a tree was able to absorb 2 corpses, and he even told her about Huang Xiaotian and the others who were devoured by the small tree fairy before. Although the taste of this guy is not good, the energy is still quite strong. I am quite satisfied with it. The small tree fairy laughed. Do you guys still want to follow me deeper in? Of course I want to go in. Maybe I can even find heavenly artifact inside. Qin Xiang said, and then he and Xie Qiaoyan went back into the small tree fairy's divine sense sea world. Although the voice of the small tree fairy was like that of a young child's, it was extremely refined, so Qin Xiang did not need to worry that something bad would happen while he was in the deeper parts. That group of old fellows are also going to enter deeper. They seem to know what is in the depths, and they understand this spirit wasteland quite well. Xie Xiaoyan suddenly said, I don't know what basis they have to find the heavenly artifact, but it's not that simple. This reminded Chen Xiang of the undead divine race. Not long after he entered the spirit wasteland, the Ning family already knew about him entering there. It was definitely what the undead divine race had told them. Chen Xiang immediately understood that the undead divine race was trying to rope in these forces because he knew that there was a gap between them and the three great native banks. It should be the undead divine race, Chen Xiang said. If the undead divine race is able to form an alliance with these powers, then they might have to deal with the three great native banks. The power of the three great native banks is extremely terrifying. Does the undead divine race really have the power to shake them? Xie Xiaoyan shook her head. She felt that it was not possible. Hard to say, undead divine race is very mysterious. Chen Xiang still did not have a thorough understanding of undead divine race, but he knew how ambitious undead divine race was. Now that the undead divine race was together with the evil spirit race, their powers would definitely become stronger, and with the sudden appearance of the spirit wasteland, Chen Xiang felt that the situation was not so simple. Small tree fairy, didn't you say that there is the ancient desolation? Could it be that other than the spirit wasteland there are 7 other ancient wastelands? Chen Xiang asked. Yes. However, our spirit wasteland's strength is at the top. As for the other 7 wastelands, they have always been hidden here. The small tree fairy said, Your new 8 wastelands is definitely not as strong as the ancient 8 desolate land. Chen Xiang shook his head. At this point in time, even he did not understand the new 8 wastelands very well, let alone the ancient 8 desolations. Right now, there's no need to think too much into it. The most important thing is to improve your own strength, Xie Xiaoyan said. When Xie Xiaoyan had been captured earlier, it made her even more aware that her own strength was too weak and she had almost allowed herself to be slaughtered. Thus, ever since that incident before, she became even more determined to work hard to increase her strength in the future, so as to prevent such a thing from happening again. Ah! It's so cold, there's some tough guys fighting up there, it looks like a dragon. The small tree fairy suddenly shouted. Are you okay? Chen Xiang asked anxiously. I'm fine. I have seen dragons before, so I know the aura of dragons. However, this dragon seems to be a bit tender, but it is also considered a rather rare species in the spirit wasteland. The small tree fairy said. Is an ice dragon a rare species in the spirit wasteland? Chen Xiang asked. Most of the dragons that could use the power of the cold were ice dragons. Of course not, there are still some ice dragons. However, this one doesn't seem like an ice dragon. Although it can use the power of the cold, it has a unique aura. The small tree fairy said. If that was the case, then there could only be one possibility. The dragon that was standing on the stage was a white dragon. Let's go up and take a look. Chen Xiang told Chen Xiang that in this era, Long Shuangru was the only white dragon. Long Shui came from another era, so it could not be counted. The small tree fairy immediately came to the ground and revealed what she had seen in her own divine sense sea world for Chen Xiang and Xie Xiaoyan to see. A white-robed woman was in the midst of battle. She held a long white sword in her hand as she battled against 2 black-clothed men. It's Shuangru! Chen Xiang immediately shouted. You know this woman? Xie Xiaoyan asked anxiously. Chen Xiang was her lover now, and although she knew Chen Xiang was a playboy, she was still a little jealous. Long Jiuxiao's daughter, Chen Xiang said. Xie Xiaoyan had already known that Chen Xiang had a heavenly furnace previously, and that it was a pill furnace created by Long Jiuxiao. Therefore, she immediately thought that the heavenly furnace was a gift from Long Jiuxiao, and the relations Hi+P between Chen Xiang and her daughter was definitely very good. Xiaoyan, how is your strength compared to the 2 men in black? Can you help Shuangru? She's my friend. Chen Xiang said. c. 2467. c. 2467. Chen Xiang didn't know why Long Shuangru had appeared in this spirit wasteland either, and why he had entered so deep all of a sudden. No problem, big sister Qiao Yan is only stronger than them. The small tree fairy laughed. Xie Qiaoyan nodded. Leave it to me. The small tree fairy telling Xie Qiaoyan to go out. The sudden appearance of Xie Qiaoyan on the battlefield surprised both Long Shuangru and the two black-clothed men. At first, Long Shuangru was worried that Xie Qiaoyan was the helper of the two black-robed men, but when she saw that Xie Qiaoyan had appeared, she immediately attacked the two black-clothed men, causing her to heave a sigh of relief. After that, Long Shuangru and Xie Qiaoyan joined hands, and with the help of sound transmission, they quickly killed the two men in black. It was only at this time that Chen Xiang came out from the divine sense sea world of the small tree fairy. Shuangru, why are you here? Chen Xiang laughed. Is Hundreds of Flowers village all right? Not bad. Long Shuangru immediately understood. The woman who had come to help her just now was precisely called over by Chen Xiang. She smiled and said, Who is this big sister? Could it be your new wife? This. I guess so. Chen Xiang coughed dryly. Not yet. Xie Qiaoyan said anxiously, afraid that Long Shuangru would misunderstand. Under their cooperation just now, Long Shuangru knew that Xie Qiaoyan was very strong, much stronger than Chen Xiang. However, she was not surprised at all by Chen Xiang being able to be on good terms with such a woman. You guys hurry up and come in, it's too dangerous outside. The small tree fairy shouted. You guys have a great battle here, it's very noisy, let's leave here first. Then, Chen Xiang and the two girls entered the divine sense sea world of the small tree fairy. After Xie Qiaoyan and Long Shuangru introduced themselves, Long Shuangru was extremely shocked. Xie Qiaoyan, this is a master above the Dan-G-O-D list of 8 wastelands and the only female alchemist of the limitless pill Dao. Long Shuangru knew that Chen Xiang's alchemy skills were extremely high. It was normal for Chen Xiang to be so close to him. In order to cure his father, Long Shuangru had a deep understanding of the art of alchemy, especially the alchemist above Dan-G-O-D list of 8 wastelands. I no longer belong to Infinite Divine Mountain. Speaking of this matter, Xie Qiaoyan couldn't help but let out a faint sigh, and then Chen Xiang briefly explained the matter of Xie Qiaoyan being arrested. Sister Qiaoyan, why don't you join our Hundreds of Flowers village? The ones who are really in love with each other are all women. Long Shuangru held on to Xie Qiaoyan's jade hand, and said with a light smile. Long Shuangru stayed in the Hundreds of Flowers village for a while, and felt a sense of belonging towards the Hundreds of Flowers village, even though she was a dragon. Hundreds of Flowers village? Xie Qiaoyan looked at Chen Xiang. Didn't you tell her? Long Shuangru asked in surprise. She's not your woman? I just said it, not yet. Xie Qiaoyan said with a bit of a blush. Long Shuangru pinched Chen Xiang. You were right earlier, how dare you lie to me? Chen Xiang was pinched to the point of pain. He cried out, Shuangru, you must have learnt bad things from those crazy girls back in Hundreds of Flowers village. You actually know how to pinch me. After that, Long Shuangru informed Xie Qiaoyan of the existence of the Hundreds of Flowers village. After hearing about it, Xie Qiaoyan was also very interested and decided to go take a look. Oh right, Shuangru, why are you here? Furthermore, it's you who is doing it, it's too dangerous. Chen Xiang asked again. Although he asked earlier, Long Shuangru did not answer. I came to look for Shuang. She had just formed a Dao pill and left without a sound. Imperial concubine Lian used the heaven extended method to calculate that she was here, so I came. Long Shuangru said. She was considered strong in the Hundreds of Flowers village, that was why she was allowed to take a look. Xie Qiaoyan was shocked. She never thought that there would actually be women from the undead divine race in there. She knew that only the undead divine race knew about heaven extended method. Is Shui Ying also a female from the Hundreds of Flowers village? She just came in here alone with her Dao Dan realm. It's very dangerous. Xie Xiaoyan said. I actually saw her. Chen Xiang frowned. Shui Ying was the Phoenix Princess, and he was sure that the phoenix he saw earlier was Shuang. What? Then why aren't you with her? Xie Xiaoyan looked at Chen Xiang reproachfully. No. I wasn't sure it was her then. Chen Xiang sighed. Shui Ying is a phoenix. When I saw her before, I did not dare confirm that it was her because I felt that she should be inside the Hundreds of Flowers village. Phoenix. Phoenix. Xie Xiaoyan was stunned. When we entered deeper inside, we also met a phoenix. Could it be that she is Shuang? Chen Xiang nodded his head. It's all my fault for being too careless. However, I was planning to ask her about it, but she flew too fast and someone was trying to catch her. Xie Xiaoyan never thought that not only was there a dragon in the Hundreds of Flowers village, there was even a phoenix. She wanted to know what kind of woman there was in the Hundreds of Flowers village. Don't worry, she's very strong now. I don't know why. Chen Xiang patted the ground and said, Small tree fairy, didn't you say you were talking about the phoenix before? There's nothing much to say. She's one of the heavenly beasts, the emperor within birds. Of course she's very strong. The phoenix that was previously missing in the spirit wasteland has disappeared for a long time now. The strength of this new phoenix is not any weaker than the old phoenix. The small tree fairy said, Master, you are really awesome, you know so many female heavenly beasts. Small tree fairy, quickly find that phoenix. Chen Xiang said. All right, if she turns into her human form, then it might be difficult to find her. The small tree fairy said, Can you give me her human form? Chen Xiang immediately released Shui Ying's shadow, looking extremely beautiful with a braid hanging on his chest, looking very pretty when he smiled. The small tree fairy was immediately found. He said, She is currently very safe, she is currently in a forest. I will bring all of you to find her now. All right, hurry up, Chen Xiang said. After knowing that the phoenix was Shuang, he was even more worried. Chen Xiang, I heard your master say that you are living well outside, is that true? She had heard all kinds of legends about Chen Xiang from the Hundreds of Flowers village, so from the bottom of her heart, she also hoped to be able to travel with Chen Xiang. Nothing, didn't I tell you before? I am a troublemaker. Chen Xiang laughed. Up till now I have only offended Infinite Divine Mountain. Of course, there's also the undead divine race here. They have started to look at me. Then aren't you in danger? After Long Shuangru finished speaking, he smiled and said, I forgot about the divine city that the three great native banks established. When you returned earlier, you told us about it. He is very safe in the three money divine city, there is no need to worry. It is just that sometimes he will run out, just like now. Xie Xiaoyan said. If I don't run out, who will save you? Chen Xiang chuckled, and then, he caressed Xie Xiaoyan's face. Long Shuangru could already tell what Xie Xiaoyan was thinking from his expression. Where's Hongqing and Xiang Yin? You're not going to let them do all the work for you, are you? Long Shuangru asked. Of course not, they are doing very well now. Chen Xiang was extremely worried that the women in the Hundreds of Flowers village would forcefully take the two beautiful women away. We're here. The small tree fairy suddenly said, but besides the phoenix there are other things here. C 2468. C 2468. The small tree fairy did not let Chen Xiang go out because he sensed danger and could tell from his voice. Then how is Shuang now? Chen Xiang asked anxiously. What other things are here? 2. I don't know what it is that I can't see, but I can feel it. Phoenix seems to have sensed it too, but she is currently very calm. Something invisible? Chen Xiang was shocked, only the evil spirit race had such a ability. Let me out. The evil spirit race was not easy to deal with. Chen Xiang was very worried. The small tree fairy originally did not plan to let Chen Xiang out, because it was too dangerous. It was the same for Long Shuangru and Xie Xiaoyan. All of you enter the Yu Yao Mountain Villa first. You can come out when you are needed." Seeing his serious expression, Xie Xiaoyan and Long Shuangru could only listen to him. This was Xie Xiaoyan's first time entering the Yu Yao Mountain Villa, but she already knew that Yang Xiangyin and Chu Hongqing were here. Chen Xiang used the counterpower to make himself invisible, and then left the small tree fairy's divine sense sea world. Coming outside, he immediately used the Dao Heart Eye and saw two red figures. He was extremely careful and did not get discovered by the too powerful evil spirit. Xue Ying was dressed in white, her long hair hanging in front of her chest. Her face was cold and beautiful, her body carried a faint amount of might, her beautiful eyes were filled with a sharp light, exuding a domineering aura. After all, she was a phoenix. Among the heavenly beasts, the number of phoenixes was even less than that of dragons. The current Xue Ying looked mature and cold. The first time Chen Xiang saw her, there was a huge difference. "It seems like you came here specifically for me?" Xue Ying's voice carried a trace of disdain. "Do you really think you have the power to swallow me?" Chen Xiang used the Dao Heart Eye to stare at the two red figures. He did not know why Xue Ying had become so strong, but he felt that it had something to do with this spirit wasteland. "What about me?" A yellow-haired old man suddenly appeared, causing Chen Xiang to be startled, because he did not know how this old man appeared. The moment the yellow-haired old man appeared, Xue Ying released a strong wave of heat, but the heat wave was concentrated on the two evil spirit races and the yellow-haired old man. "You are just a little girl who has just obtained the power of an old phoenix. Do you think we are that easy to deal with? We will definitely be able to take you down today." The yellow-haired old man laughed loudly. "Humph, you all are too arrogant." As Xue Ying spoke, a flaming sword appeared in her hand, and she instantly appeared beside one of the evil spirit race. She could actually see the invisible evil spirit race. "Can she see me?" Chen Xiang was suspicious, but he was sure that the yellow-haired old man and the two evil spirit race did not know that he was here. Right now, Chen Xiang was sure that the yellow-haired old man was from the undead divine race. They should be here to capture the phoenix, not for Chen Xiang. Chen Xiang knew that even if he could get close, he would not be able to successfully launch a sneak attack. Even though his heavenly magic sword was sharp, but because the difference in strength between him and his opponent was too great, it was unable to break his opponent's defense. However, he was extremely worried for Xue Ying. He sent a sound transmission to the small tree fairy and asked, "Small tree fairy, do you think that together with Shuangru and her, they would be able to deal with that yellow-haired old man?" Xue Ying had already started to fight with the two invisible evil spirit races, but the yellow-haired old man did not do anything. It was clear that he felt that there was no need to do anything now. The yellow-haired old man isn't weak. If those two women join hands, then it would be very difficult for them, unless they have a way to divert his attention. The small tree fairy said, "If I seal him for an instant, will he succeed?" Chen Xiang asked. "If you cooperate well with Shuangru and you can seal the yellow-haired old man for an instant, then taking him down shouldn't be a problem," the small tree fairy said. Chen Xiang immediately sent a sound transmission to Xie Xiaoyan and Long Shuangru, telling them to prepare their moves, that they had to be fast, and that they wanted to kill Xie Xiaoyan in one shot. Xie Xiaoyan and Long Shuangru both had a lot of battle experience, so they were confident that they could succeed and cooperate with Chen Xiang to make a beautiful sneak attack. Chen Xiang secretly activated the Daoyuan immortal power and natural law principles that he had at his disposal. He was prepared to use the entire strength of the 6 realms mirrors. There were many powerful sealing formations inside the 6 realms mirrors. "Get ready!" After Chen Xiang finished speaking, he used his spatial energy to move the 6 realms mirrors below the yellow-haired old man, and then activated the 6 realms mirrors to release the formation. In that instant, he teleported next to the yellow-haired old man and summoned Xie Xiaoyan and Long Shuangru out of the Yu Yao Mountain Villa. When the yellow-haired old man sensed a spatial ripple, he immediately became alert, but when he was alert, he found that he could not move at all. Following that, Chen Xiang appeared beside him, accompanied by two aggressive-looking women. Long Shuangru and Xie Qiaoyan activated an extremely strong Daoyuan immortal power at the same time. Although it was just one ice and one fire, they were very skilled in using the laws, being able to fuse ice and fire, and then thrusting the Daoyuan immortal power into the yellow-haired old man's head. The yellow-haired old man's mind shook from the strike. The Daoyuan immortal power that he was using was also scattered, while Chen Xiang continued to summon his 6 realms mirrors, at the same time throwing his heavenly magic sword over to Long Shuangru. Long Shuangru took the heavenly magic sword and hacked at the yellow-haired old man. In a moment, dozens of swords slashed across, chopping the heavenly magic sword into many small pieces. Chen Xiang took out the chuangs. Hi plus G-O. D furnace and stored all the pieces into the chuangs. Hi plus G-O D furnace. Done. Chen Xiang said excitedly, then used the power of G-O D's eye to transmit what he saw into Long Shuangru's and Xie Qiaoyan's eyes. This way, they could see the evil spirit race and go help Shuang. Sister Shuangru, Chen Xiang. Why are you guys here? Shuang was very happy. Without the yellow-haired old man, the pressure on her was greatly reduced. She also noticed that although she did not know Xie Qiaoyan, but from her understanding of Chen Xiang, she knew that he was the woman that Chen Xiang knew. With Long Shuangru and Xie Qiaoyan joining the battle, the 3 girls quickly killed the 2 powerful evil spirit race S and ended the battle. Shuang, you left without saying anything. We are worried to death about you. Long Shuangru scolded as she pinched Shui Ying's jade face. At that time I was also in a daze. I came here based on my senses, and then I experienced some things. I obtained the inheritance of the ancient phoenix. I also know a few things. After flying around here, I met those guys. Shuang was also somewhat guilty. I'm really sorry for making you worry. It's good that you're fine. Chen Xiang laughed. I'm not used to your current appearance, but you look a lot better. Am I not good-looking to begin with? Shuang smiled sweetly and then walked over to Chen Xiang's side. XC2469 XC2469 Shuang was alright now. Long Shuangru and Chen Xiang also could feel at ease. This was not the first time Chen Xiang saved her, so she could clearly remember the scene back then when Chen Xiang saved her. Let's go back now. Long Shuangru said. I keep having the feeling that it's not safe inside this place. There's danger at any time. Waibdu. This is indeed the case, there are dangers everywhere, let's hurry up and get out. Shuang nodded, then looked at Chen Xiang and smiled. It can't be that you want to stroll around here. Alright, I'll send you out, then I'll come back. Chen Xiang nodded. He truly wanted to explore this spirit wasteland. Shui Ying was LV Qilian's disciple, and was often together with little Lizzie and the others. Naturally, she understood Chen Xiang's personality, so she could guess it. Using his spatial power, Chen Xiang brought the 3 girls out of the spirit wasteland, arriving at the city outside. Qiaoyan, go back to the Hundreds of Flowers village with them, Chen Xiang said. If you get tired of staying inside, you can also come out for a walk. Xie Qiaoyan looked at Shui Ying and Long Shuangru and then nodded. Shui Ying and Long Shuangru, 1 dragon and 1 phoenix, were on par with her, and even a little stronger than her. Chen Xiang took out a piece of jade talisman, and left some words she had said to LV Qilian in there. She then asked her to arrange things for Xie Qiaoyan, and tell him about some things related to Xie Qiaoyan. Be careful on the way. Chen Xiang warned repeatedly. These 3 women were very powerful, so Chen Xiang was not too worried. After watching them leave, Chen Xiang returned to the spirit wasteland and found the small tree fairy. We can't just walk around aimlessly here. We need to have a target, the small tree fairy said. I'm very curious about this human world inside Spirit Wasteland. Chen Xiang thought for a moment, then said, he wanted to see what was different about this ancient spirit wasteland. I only brought you to that area. I don't dare to go deeper in. If those humans discover me, I'll be in danger. The small tree fairy said. Chen Xiang nodded, and then entered the small tree fairy's divine sense sea world. 6 hours later, Chen Xiang came out from divine sense sea world. The human world is just ahead. There is a big city inside. You are a human, so there shouldn't be any problem entering. If there is a threat, you can just run away. The small tree fairy said, I'm going hunting, I need to eat something. Alright, then we'll meet again someday. Chen Xiang smiled at the small tree fairy. Goodbye. Small tree fairy didn't win in a flash. Chen Xiang looked at the large mountain in front of him. After going over those mountains, he would be able to reach the city where the spirit wasteland's humans were gathered. Looking down from the top of the mountain, the houses in front of him were as far as he could see. It was an extremely densely packed human city, and standing at the peak, Chen Xiang could even faintly hear the noise of the city. This spirit wasteland is not simple, there is a very strong protective array. I wonder if I can enter with the white tiger leap? Chen Xiang teleported to the foot of the mountain, then arrived at the long city walls. There were many people queuing up at the city gate to enter. Chen Xiang queued for a short while before he was finally able to enter. What made him curious was that this ancient spirit wasteland actually used jade money too. His jade money could be used here, which meant that the influence of the 3 great native banks also affected this city, which made him very surprised. The 3 great native banks actually had such a strong influence during the ancient era of the wasteland. Chen Xiang asked while he was lining up. A lot of people who entered the city came from other cities, but there were also people from new 8 wastelands outside. The entry fee was 100,000 jade money, so it wasn't very expensive. After entering the city, Chen Xiang found out that the biggest characteristic of this place was that many things were ancient, but the strength of the things here was not weak at all. Chen Xiang took a look around the street. Although there was a pill shop, the pills sold there were all of a very low quality. He also found that this city was different from the others. It was inside the city as well as the city. When he was shopping, he saw that there were walls inside. The enclosures were huge, but he could not enter. After asking around, he quickly understood that in order to enter the innermost city, one would need to have a cultivation base at the 3rd level of Dao Dan realm. He also heard that even with a cultivation at the 3rd level of Dao Dan realm, there were many restrictions to entering. Now Chen Xiang understood why he did not see any good stuff to sell outside, but what made him curious was that there were quite a few people above the 3rd level of Dao Dan realm outside as well. But why were they outside? When Chen Xiang was eating at a hotel, he asked a waiter about it. The waiter told Chen Xiang that because he worked too hard inside, with too many restrictions, many people who were at the 3rd level of the Dao Dan realm chose to stay outside. Why is it so hard? Chen Xiang was a little puzzled. Someone in the 3rd level of the Dao Dan realm would definitely not be poor. Even if they were poor, it wouldn't be too arduous for them. You don't understand. If you enter the inner city, you will have to do something if you don't have a higher cultivation base. For example, you must join the army and become a soldier. The waiter said, this means that even if you don't want to fight, you still have to go. Right now, it's a war between humans and beasts. Furthermore, there are times when conflicts occur. Why did you let me go? If a powerful cultivator were to make a move, he would be able to kill off the enemy's small soldier at any time. This way, you don't have to sacrifice your small soldier. Chen Xiang said. The enemy has a general too. If we have a general on our side, they will have someone with the same strength to tie us down. The enemy has a general, if we have a general on our side, they will have someone with the same strength. The waiter said. Chen Xiang currently had not reached the 3rd stage of the spirit core formation stage, so he was unable to enter the inner city. However, He planned to cultivate for a period of time as well, so he wanted to enter the inner city to take a look. Although the living environment in the inner city was rather harsh, it was very interesting to Chen Xiang. Furthermore, he wanted to understand the roles that the three great native banks south played in this place, to think that he could see their native bank wherever he went. Chen Xiang asked for a room in the inn, then ate his Qingyuan Dan and started cultivating. He needed to quickly break through to the third level of the Dao Dan realm, as this way, he could enter the inner city as soon as possible. While Chen Xiang was cultivating, a group of people suddenly came outside of the city. They were extremely aggressive, but they still had to obediently line up. White Spirit City Master, you're not dead yet. What a cheap life! A yellow-robed old man sneered as he saw a middle-aged man walk out of the city gate. You look more like a dead person. Why should I die if you're not dead? He is the city lord of this White Spirit City. C-2470. C-2470. This group of people the White Spirit City Lord was facing were indeed from undead divine race and his group. They only came here with one goal in mind, to find Chen Xiang. You and I won't die, it's not like you don't know. The yellow-robed old man harumphed. You just won't die of old age, but that doesn't mean you won't be killed. The White Spirit City Lord laughed. What brings you all to this city? I don't really welcome you all. So what if you don't welcome us? Can you stop us from entering the city? What are we doing here? It's none of your business. The yellow-robed elder's attitude was extremely bad, causing the White Spirit City Lord to furrow his brows. The White Spirit City Lord sighed. If I do not welcome you all, it means that I do not wish for you all to enter this city. The current me can indeed stop you all from entering. You don't need to queue up, I won't let you enter the White Spirit City. Yan Guang, you are not the head of this city, even though you are a city lord, you are only managing this city. You are breaking the city's rules. Aren't you afraid that your position in the city lord will be lost? The yellow-robed old man said coldly. That's right, this city is not mine. I am just a manager. Even if the position of the city lord is not preserved, I will not allow you to enter the city. Yan Guang laughed. You guys are not convinced? Come beat me up, I'm not afraid of you hitting me. The yellow-robed old man was so angry that his entire body was trembling. He truly did not dare to make a move. Yan Guang laughed out loud, then took out a chair, and just sat at the city gate, not allowing the yellow-robed elder and the others to enter the White Spirit City. Yan Guang, wait for the 3 Dao sovereigns of White Spirit City to return. We'll see what you'll do. Okay, we'll wait here. If they were here, they wouldn't let you do anything rash. The yellow-robed old man said angrily. Seeing their FLU's teared and exasperated expressions, Yan Guang could guess that they had important matters to attend to in the city, and that Yan Guang had grudges with them before, so he stopped them from entering. Seeing their appearances, he was secretly satisfied. Chen Xiang was currently training, so he did not know that the people chasing him from the undead divine race were already outside the city gate. However, because he saw that the 3 great native banks were inside, he was not too worried, and felt that this city definitely had something to do with the 3 great native banks. In the blink of an eye 2 months had passed. Chen Xiang had eaten quite a few Qingyuan Dan before breaking through the 3rd level of Dao Dan realm. Chen Xiang came out of his room and ordered a table of good dishes. While he was eating, he suddenly heard someone talking about the things outside the city. The rarely seen city lord is actually sitting guard outside of the city for an entire 2 months. I heard that this is to prevent the guy that I hate from entering Bai Ling. Those fellows seem to be from some undead divine race. There were conflicts between the city lord and them, and when they were at the city gate, they were extremely arrogant. It would be the best if they were not allowed to enter. I'm just afraid that the 3 Dao sovereigns will return. If we pursue this matter further, the position of city lord will definitely not be preserved. After Chen Xiang heard this, He never thought that such a thing would actually happen. There were actually rankers who became enemies with the undead divine race. Although he had never met Yen Guang before, he immediately felt that Yen Guang was traveling the same path as him. He hastily finished all the food and drinks on the table and then headed to the entrance of the city. Sure enough, he saw 30 to 50 people sitting on chairs he had brought along with him outside the city. Yen Guang sat on the left wall of the huge city gate. He was dressed in white, leisurely drinking tea and humming a song. Chen Xiang. Just as he was about to rush over, Yen Guang looked at him and immediately stopped in his tracks. The yellow-robed elder was from the undead divine race. Moreover, he came from the same generation as Chen Xiang, so he could calculate where Chen Xiang was. Chen Xiang had changed his appearance, but the other party was still able to see it. When he saw the yellow-robed elder not daring to enter, he understood that the city had very strict rules. If they were not allowed to enter, they would not dare to enter. Yen Guang also looked at the person standing behind him. At this time, he was shocked to realize that this person's appearance was changing. Chen Xiang changed back to his original appearance, then looked at the yellow-robed elderly man outside and laughed. "Not bad, you dogs, you guys are really just like dogs. To be able to follow me here and bark twice, I still haven't heard what a humanoid dog's bark looks like." "You!" The yellow-robed elder's face and eyes twitched. He was extremely furious and wanted to slap Chen Xiang to death. "Alright, you guys were just killed 3 times, right? One of them belonged to the undead divine race, and the other 2 were from some evil spirit race. They died quite miserably, and their bodies were not complete." Chen Xiang laughed. The more furious the other party was, the happier he would be. "I will kill you!" The yellow-robed old man had a ferocious expression as he angrily shouted. However, he did not dare to enter the city gate. Come on, kill me if you dare." If he didn't come, it would be a puppy. "Right, you're an old dog now. It should be said that if you don't come, you're a turtle, little turtle." Chen Xiang laughed. Yen Guang was also stunned. He did not even dare to provoke the other party, and Chen Xiang, this little kid from the Dao Dan realm, actually did not care about his life. However, he seemed to have guessed something. The death of 3 undead divine race S was definitely related to Chen Xiang. The 3 elders of the Infinite Divine Mountain were also furious at this moment. The Infinite Master shouted angrily, "Chen Xiang, quickly hand over the heavenly longevity fruit, or else, if you are caught by us, I guarantee that you will suffer a fate worse than death. You 3 old bastards, if you have the guts, come and capture me. Do you want me to live a life worse than death? I'm right in front of you, but you guys don't dare to come over. Of course, if even this old dog in front of you doesn't dare to come in, then you 3 old bastards will even more so." Chen Xiang placed his hands on his waist and laughed out loud. As he said that, Chen Xiang took out a heavenly longevity fruit and crushed it while laughing. This made everyone curse in their hearts. Yen Guang also took in a deep breath. This heavenly longevity fruit was extremely expensive, to actually be crushed like this. Seeing this scene, Infinite Master had the urge to vomit blood. "Brat, it's more or less enough for you. If you anger them to death in front of the White Spirit City's entrance, then our White Spirit City would be very unlucky." Yen Guang laughed. "That's right, I am a kind-hearted person. Who knows, I might have to help them collect their corpses when the time comes. I'll leave it to you. I'm going to take a look around the inner city." Chen Xiang laughed. "You want to enter the inner city? This may not be good, especially for you right now," Yen Guang said. C 2471. C 2471. Chen Xiang had enemies, and those that entered the inner city had to join the army. If they fought, Chen Xiang would be in the army, and the enemy would be easy to deal with. "It's fine, I've asked around. If alchemists were to go in, we can avoid fighting and get the best protection, right?" Chen Xiang said. "You are still alchemist?" Yan Guang laughed. I really can't tell. Alchemists should not be like you, who likes to cause trouble. Hee, next time if there's a chance, let's have a drink together. I'll go to the inner city first. Chen Xiang waved at Yan Guang, then turned and walked towards the inner city. When entering the inner city, they did not need to return any jade money, as long as they said one of their equipment tests, and proved that they were at the 3rd level of Dao Dan realm, they would be able to enter. After passing the test, Chen Xiang was now in the 3rd level of the Dao Dan realm. He was able to enter the inner city, and even gave him a jade tablet. After entering, Chen Xiang found a small booklet that stated the rules to be observed in the inner city. It could be seen that in the inner city, it was much stricter than outside. At least he was safe, and did not need to worry about undead divine race, and the rest coming in to cause trouble. Seeing the contents of the booklet, Chen Xiang understood a lot about the rules of the inner city. I still have a year's time before I enter. I will be joining the army in a year. If I don't want to, I must leave the inner city, and I can't enter the inner city again for 1,000 years. Chen Xiang felt that this was pretty good. After a year, he would be able to sit through a lot of things. He only joined the army 3 years ago. Chen Xiang kept the booklet and strolled around. There were a lot of people in the inner city. Many of them had killing intent written all over their face. One could tell that they were people who had experienced the battles before. Chen Xiang had a lot of jade money now, but he had asked around, even if there were a lot of them, he would still have to join the army. This was a very strict rule, everyone was an exception, even if their status was very blee. There's still a year left. I should take advantage of this time to train and improve my strength as much as possible. I'll decide whether or not I want to join the army here. I'll decide after a year. Chen Xiang found a pretty good inn, where he started cultivating and so on. It was not bad and the price was very cheap. He and Chu Hongqing were refining Qingyuan Dan at a faster and faster rate. Chu Hongqing would also occasionally eat one and cultivate. With the help of the World God's spring, they were able to grow a large amount of Qingyuan Dan and the herbs they needed. With the help of a large number of Qingyuan Dan, Chen Xiang practically broke through stage 1 every 3 months. A year's time said, and he was now stage 7 of the Dao Dan realm, which was even more powerful than before. If it was anyone else, they would definitely not be able to break through as quickly as he did. The fastest would be several years, and some might even need up to 100 years. The reason he was so fast was also because he had a large number of Qingyuan Dan. Even if it was a very wealthy person, if they didn't have a suitable pill to eat, it would be useless. Chen Xiang walked out of the tavern and headed towards a tall building. Previously, his jade tablet had vibrated a few times, reminding him to report the fact that he had joined the army. When he arrived at the tall building, he saw that there were a few people waiting there as well. They were here to register. A year of time said by extremely quickly for Chen Xiang, especially when he was in closed-door cultivation. A year has said, I wonder how those fellows from undead divine race are doing. Chen Xiang recalled the group of people who spoke at the city gate a year ago, and it seemed to have happened only yesterday. You shouldn't have to worry about anything inside, those guys don't even dare to come in. Chu Hongqing said, her cultivation had also increased by a lot, she was already at the 10th stage of the Dao Dan realm, and had been preparing to charge into the Daopa realm, thanks to the Qingyuan Dan. At this time, a middle-aged man dressed in white walked out. It was City Lord Yan Guang. When he saw Chen Xiang, he was stunned, then laughed. I had thought that you had already left the inner city, I didn't expect that you had always been here. I'm not a coward. Chen Xiang laughed. City Lord, you sure are nosy, taking responsibility for this kind of thing. Yan Guang laughed bitterly. My position in the city lord has already been taken, so I can only do this kind of thing. Those guys are in the outer city right now. They didn't come in. Yen Guang began to help the others register. Why didn't they come in? Chen Xiang asked. Most of them are deserters here, they have all joined the army back then, but they ran away before the time, even Paes said, so if they wanted to enter the inner city, they would have to wait for more than 10,000 years. As for the others who have never entered the inner city before, because of their current cultivation level is very high, once they enter the inner city, they will have to immediately join the army. Chen Xiang did not know about these things. When he first came in, the booklet had only mentioned the rules related to his cultivation. Senior, I am an alchemist, and am able to refine intermediate king-grade pellet. Do I need to go on to the battlefield? Chen Xiang asked. If you can really refine it, there's no need for that. If you perform well, you will be rewarded. Yen Guang said. I'll help you register now. When the time comes, you can go take the examination. If you pass, it will naturally be easier. Chen Xiang nodded and accepted the jade tablet that Yen Guang handed to him. At this time, Yen Guang had nothing else to do, so he brought him to undergo the alchemy exam. Old Lu, someone came to take the test, are you still sleeping? Yen Guang brought Chen Xiang to a courtyard at the back of the building and shouted as he knocked on the door. Come in. I'm so busy, how can I have time to sleep? An old man's voice came from inside. Yen Guang pushed the door open and entered with Chen Xiang. After entering, Chen Xiang immediately smelt a medicinal fragrance. Someone was concocting pills. Refining Dao Mark Dan? Chen Xiang asked. In the courtyard there was an old man concocting pills. That's right, we are in urgent need of a large number of Dao Mark Dan. The old man nodded. How do you know? I can smell it. Chen Xiang was a little doubtful. Aren't Dao Mark Dan eaten by the Dao Ti realm? All the people who entered were at the 3rd level of Dao Dan realm. Why do they need Dao Mark Dan? One look and you can tell that you just entered not long ago. If you have children born in the inner city, then there will be no limit. Right now there are quite a few little kids with Dao Ti realm S who need to quickly cultivate and create Dao marks. The old man said, then we'll need a lot of pills to break through the Dao Dan realm. The war is about to start, and every alchemist has a huge burden on them. Old Lu, this kid said he knows how to refine Qingyuan Dan and wants you to take it. Yen Guang laughed. If he can refine Dao Mark Dan, then we can pass. The inner city is lacking alchemist S. This is a medicinal ingredient. You should have a pill furnace. No matter how much he can refine it, I will consider it as you pass. Old Lu said.